Hey guys, hey, we have a verdict. Everybody, we have a verdict. Hold on, let me alter this title. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I need to fix this. Verdict, we have a verdict, everybody. We have a verdict. Let me find the Patty. Let me find all the people. We has a verdict. We has a verdict. Hello, yes, 30 minutes. We has a verdict. I need to find a Patty. Hold on. Let me find a Patty. Where are you, my Patty? Pate. Guys, go ahead, share out the link everywhere. They just put out, we have a verdict as of 1 minute ago. So we are 30 minutes and counting. 30 minutes and counting until we get our answer. We have a verdict. Send out the link. Fly, all my beasties, fly.
Hello.
Fly, beasties, fly. Send out the links. We have a verdict. As of 3 minutes ago, we have a verdict. Let's go. It's in. Verdict is in. I just finished it. If it comes back guilty, they are doing immediate sentencing. There is no investigation to be done. Send everything out, my lovely beasties. Send them out. We has a verdict. Let's get this out, and then I'll talk about what I was going to talk about and all the stupid. Use the backspace key, people.
So how have you been the last couple days?
I hate everybody.
Everybody?
Well, I mean, for all intents and purposes. And of course. Hold on 1 second, guys. No, that's not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. Where are you? I have to find myself. Hold on 1 second.
I sent Patty a copy of.
I just sent Patty a link too.
That'll get her attention.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do one thing. Talk to the people for me, since we're live. Croc, talk to everybody while I send this out, please.
How's everybody else going today, folks? We had some. Oh, I see. Let's see. What do we got? We got Nick. We got Ardo, Mayor McNome, and Sassy. There's Nubis. And Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
God damn it!
Oh.
I'm sucking at this right now.
just grab the chat here.
Yeah, hold on.
Nope. Okay.
Okay.
We got Mean John in here too. Where'd he go? I haven't seen him.
We have a verdict.
Oh.
22 minutes till the verdict announcement.
Woohoo. They finally stopped the timer.
No, it's now a countdown.
No, I'm talking about Crime Talk.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know. Hold on. Just sent Patty a link to join. Who else do I?
No.
You can send that link to the appropriate people. Croc, the join link.
Yeah, no, I the only person I know of for that is Patty, and yeah, I already sent it to her.
Okay. Hold on. You can. Where's this? Okay.
And that's off. Yep, justice for Gannon. We really want that to happen. I see Caroline. And
Yep.
there's Creed.
I am sending the things out right now.
Okay. Hey, Credence and Mikey. I don't know which one of you it is, but hey, how you doing?
Guys, I sent a link if you want to jump on.
Yeah. Right this second, I can't do that, Mayor McNome.
I sent McNome. Hold on. Hello? 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 May I ask who's calling?
J-Lo. Hello, J-Lo.
Stop. Take me off your list. Go away. Oh, people don't want to talk to me right now. Trust me. Trust me, it is for everybody's health.
To not talk to for Loki not to be talked to.
Hold on 1 second. I can't even tell what the F I posted. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll deal with that later. Come back over here. Yeah, larceny is amazing. Yeah, Credence and Mikey, you should have the join link. You should have the join link. Hold on 1 second, guys. Mean John, go to your, where are you, Mean John? Twitter. It's on Twitter mailbox. Because of course I do. Where are you? I know you are in. I'll just get you on Discord. Where's my Discord? Here's this. Where are you? Here we go. Mean John, there's the join link if Mike or anybody wants to join. Mean John, you have it. Okay, verdict is in. We has a verdict. Yeah, Mean John, I sent you the join button link thing for people that would like to pop on the stream. So
So how Letitia is Letitia gonna get? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I need to put up a poll, but I can't adult and figure it out right now because I'm an idiot. I have to do it in my broadcast, don't I?
Actually, hang on. I think I might be able to do that.
Yeah, I'll explain that to you after.
Okay.
See if you can still do it. It has to. See if it'll let you. Ann Bell, we have not heard the verdict. The countdown on screen is the timer until the verdict is read. There's 30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30, 30, 30. No, Mean John, that's like the join link. If Mike wants to get on screen or someone wants to join in the discussion that I just sent you. Not the link. Okay, Ann. Yeah, you'll hear me because I'm loud and obnoxious. I need to text Patty. Send her a thing. Everybody's trying to adult. Nobody can adult today, it seems. Me included.
Nope. No can do.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Where do I have to do it in my broadcast, right?
Yeah. You actually have to go into studio.
Yeah. And then the broadcast studio. The backstage.
Yeah, you go into the backstage, and in the chat down at the bottom there's a little plus sign.
That's fine. That's where I'm going right now. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. It has been a long day. I am over this day, this week, this month, this year. That's just going to be my answer right now to everything in the world. Pop out the chat. Here we go. Poll. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, there we go. We have an error occurred.
Yeah, just put it back up.
I did.
Because if it hadn't actually filtered through to the chat yet, it'll do some silly shit like that. Just try again.
I am.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Woohoo! Verdict is in. I texted Patty. I'm going to lose my voice today.
But you'll have so much fun.
I have been screaming for like 3 days right now.
Somebody's thinking she might actually pull off NGRA.
Well, so I know a lot of people saw the thing about questions this morning. All they wanted was an evidence list and a copy of the dipshits expert report. Yeah, Caroline, but I'm not. I'm making everyone pick. We're not going to fence it today. Don't mean, John, you'll love it more later because I was in a mood. So I have been clipping epic Manning shit and epic courtroom shit for the celebratory. So it's going to be scary later today.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be scary later today. We have it on the Twitter. Go look at Twitter and make sure I can post anything stupid, Croc.
Now, give me a sec.
So. Let's talk about things. We're going to talk about things and housekeeping things and lots of things while we wait for them to come back. Let's go. I posted the same thing like 5 times in a row. Hey, Mikey.
How's everybody doing?
We're doing. I was just like messaging with you guys and like finishing your stream, and the Colorado courts put up,
This has been quite a interesting case. Anytime I've watched any of this case, it's because I've come over here and hung out with you guys and watched it.
Yay,
And
we love you too.
It's definitely it's horrible, top to bottom. But the interrogation videos and things like that were just so telling. You could watch those and really get a grasp on what's going on. But I hope it goes the way that I think it will. But if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised, because 9 times out of 10, every time I think something's going to go one certain way, it'll swerve. Yeah, and I hate that. I hate to put out like, oh, it's a for sure this or for sure that. Nothing's for sure at all when it deals with these kinds of things.
Hey, Div.
Hey.
10 minutes and counting, verdicts in. So I will say, she done screwed up, right?
Yeah.
Because from someone who has a medical license, she picked a mental disease or defect that cannot be medicated. Because it is a fracturing of the personality before the personality is formed, you can't medicate it. There's no way. It's a structural, essentially, walls issue. If you look at someone like Hinckley, who won the NGRI and was committed, he was schizophrenic. And that's why he thought it would impress Jane Fonda. So once he was medicated,
it wasn't Jane Fonda. It was, what's her face? The one that. What the hell was her name? Jodie Foster.
Okay, whatever, Jodie Foster. I'm like not that age. Okay, shove it. I hadn't been born yet. I don't know what to tell you. But that one can be medicated and treated. DID cannot. And even if you manage to resolve one personality of the dissociative identities, you will form another alter to fill the space.
Oh, really?
So what what people don't get is DID, the trauma 99.9% of the time occurs before the age of 9. It has to be so severe and pervasive that the body and mind cannot handle it. And the only way it can handle it is by dissociation.
Okay, so you're not born this way. Something happens for this diagnosis?
Okay. It is exclusively from trauma.
Okay.
Your body and developing mind could not handle the trauma. Okay. So you dissociate as a way to get through it, right? Mm-hmm. Like with PTSD. Mm-hmm. But because this happens before the personalities have fused, you can't get past it. Your body comes up with these alters. And when you're back in that traumatic place, it will take you to an alter or personality that can handle it. And that's why you have the amnesia. So once you're through it, you can go back, right, to the other one and not have it affect your life. Once the personalities have kind of fused developmentally. So it's like, it's not multiple personalities. It's your body walling off parts of memory and certain things. And just
It's you're assigning it something that you can close down.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
So you can't medicate this. And it's been shown, like, if they successfully navigate, right? And they can get rid of the violent one, your body will reform one. Like, you'll just end up with another one. So you can't medicate it, which means they can't ever let her out. For NGRI, you're committed to a mental facility. After a period of time where you've been medicated, you've seen therapists, and they feel you're no longer in danger, there's no risk of non-med compliance, there's nothing, then they start letting you out on the weekends, and like, we'll see how that goes. And it's
how old is she?
40-something.
So either way, she's going to an institution.
Right. But it's a stepwise thing.
Mm-hmm.
So because you can't medicate or treat it, they can't ever let her out. And there's a loophole in Colorado, which many states don't have, but there's a loophole with NGRI. The judge has the right to say if competency is ever restored, it is my discretion on if you go to jail.
Oh. His personal discretion? Like, what if he
The
passes away?
courts.
Okay.
The courts can decide that even if you're quote unquote cured.
Oh, I see. So if in a year the medical professional's like, it's a miracle, she doesn't have it, whatever, we've got this miracle, whatever, then now she can be tried if the courts
she can't be tried again. They hold a hearing.
Punished again?
They hold a hearing and they can remand her to jail, that she's a future risk, because you can't remedy it overall, if that makes sense. No one can be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So Colorado does have a loophole that she can still be held.
When was the last time somebody got one of these insanity defenses?
Well, the reality is less than about 3% of all cases plead NGRI, right? Like, even make the plea in court.
Mm-hmm. Because it's such a high bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's where it gets even more complicated. So, like, less than 3% try, to get it throughout the trial.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that 3% and you now make it 100%, right? That 100%, less than 1% are found NGRI.
Wow.
It is a percentage of a percentage. It is far less common than people think.
Wow.
Right? So
what is your chat? Can you see your poll? What does your chat think are the odds?
Let me look. I
That
can
being
look at the
successful.
poll.
It's 91 to 9 in favor of guilty as shit.
Okay, there we go.
What else am I for?
Some of they wanted the expert reports this morning. That was what the evidence they wanted was. 3 minutes and
expert
counting,
reports regarding
Dr. Lewis's report and Captain, I didn't recognize my own son on camera.
Oh, sounds like you guys had a fun trial.
No, the defense expert witness didn't recognize her own son. Like, the Alzheimer's or dementia is strong with you. How are you diagnosing anybody if your old demented ass can't recognize your own child?
That's when the son realized that their dad had Alzheimer's.
Like, I'm gonna have to
Dr.
tell you,
Lewis,
lady.
female.
Oh,
she's
whatever.
female. It's like, lady, you didn't recognize your own kid. We need to talk.
They grow up so fast.
Whatever. But
2
and
minutes.
to answer this other question, right? Yeah, 2 minutes. So the
She
DID,
was 85 years old, this doctor.
yes.
Oh my gosh. Come on.
Wow.
Mikey, you have to watch some of it. They burned her. The prosecutor woke up and chose violence. He was like, "You're a Ted Bundy fangirl, and you want me to listen to anything you have to say?"
The mom, this woman here that we see is the fangirl.
No, that's
Or the
Stauch.
doctor was.
This dipshit
Yikes.
Stauch. No, the doctor. The doctor was present at Bundy's execution.
I mean,
She was a
As you
straight up
do.
fangirl.
As you do.
as you do.
But
So is this when the judge is coming, the court's coming back from lunch?
in 121, they're going to put the cameras back on and they're going to read the verdict.
Oh,
verdict
my
is in.
Lanta.
And they have said, if it is guilty, he's sentencing immediately.
Ooh.
So
Spicy.
we will have a sentence. So
This is how you start a Monday. Is today Monday?
let's go. Yeah, beasties.
Yeah, today's Monday.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Let's go, beasties. Because it's been a shit weekend for me. So let's go. Let's get good news.
Aw,
Because I hate
Sorry to
people.
hear
I've
that.
been bickering with YouTube.
Same.
Probably for a very different reason than I am.
They make it seem like you're talking to yourself. It'll make you seem crazy after a while.
It's okay. No, I'm actually getting lots of answers. They
Good.
jumped on answering me in like 30 minutes.
It's just been a lot of hassle.
I'm not going to get into it now because it's
Oh,
a
okay,
happy
okay.
time.
Okay.
I'll
Is
explain it after. It's
Fair.
just stupid.
Okay.
Somebody needed some Midol, apparently.
I hear you.
Oh, dear.
Guys, the countdown 6.
5.
I feel like I'm back in net as a goalie watching the clock.
9,
Because what else do us goalies have to do?
7, 6, 5.
What else does the goalie have to do when you're at the other end? We're like staring at
1,
our skates, the clock, the wall, talking to the post.
The post over there. Post. Okay. So, yeah, the timer has run out, and it should be any time now.
Yeah, it'll as soon as the cameras come on. But as I was saying, so here's the funny thing. The only way anything changes, it doesn't mean you're locked into DID. Once she goes to the psych facility, if they were to NGRI her, she'll get multiple evaluations. And they can change like her true diagnosis. So, I mean, it doesn't lock into diagnosis. But
Well, one would hope that one thing she's hoping right about now that Judge Warner is long gone by the time.
I think right now she's hoping that he doesn't set her on fire after some of the things people have pulled during this trial.
Did she testify?
No.
Mikey, did you see my middle finger meme?
I did.
She's sitting there flipping everybody off. The judge is sitting there admonishing her for flipping everybody off while doing the same thing and flipping her off. As like when you think you're being slick, but your judge is savage as fuck. The judge literally gave the entire lecture about inappropriate gestures while flipping her off.
Yeah. Nice.
He's going to be very upset if he can't really hit her hard.
No,
If
he's
he-
going to lecture regardless, NGRI or not. That man has had it with her. I don't know if you saw when I read the thing about the threats in her peanut butter. I was like, what in the ever-loving egg McFuck muffin? Who is
That's
threatening
okay.
you
Dad
in
was-
peanut butter?
When last we saw him, Dad was most definitely mad. Oh
Well, I
boy.
love it. Scott Rice was talking the other day. He goes in front of this judge, and he's like, this judge does not care. Like, he comes across like, Dad's mad, whatever. He's like, but this judge will call you out on the carpet and beat you. Like, this judge has no chill off screen.
Is this someone's channel you're watching right here?
This is Crime Talk with Scott Reich. Crime Talk, I talked to Scott about it already. He doesn't care if people use his live streams, like
How do we
instead
know
of law
he's
and
up to date?
crime. He is a criminal defense attorney from the state of Colorado who is a Marine veteran and was a prosecutorial JAG in the Marine Corps. He actually did an enlisted 4 years and then was in for 7 as a prosecutor JAG in the Marine Corps. So then he got out and does criminal defense. Yeah, Scott's awesome. He's like, by the fact, he started his channel because of the Chris Watts case. He was so mad at the misreporting and the like people not understanding how my voice keeps cracking like a teenage boy. I can tell I'm sick. He was so mad at the misreporting and misinterpretation that he started a channel.
Creed said, prosecutorial JAG? Do y'all have prosecutorial BMWs?
Maybe.
Yeah, that sounds like Creed, all right. We have 23 votes and 27 watching, but only 13 likes. We should fix that.
It never works out. The math is always wrong. Never works out.
That's the deliberation was 7 hours. That's it?
Yep.
That sounds guilty to me.
That's pretty quick.
No. Quick was Murdaugh. 2 hours. We're back, bitches.
That's how quick they were? Whoa.
Murdaugh was 2 hours.
Daryl Brooks was
3.5, but that's because the jury had to sign
so many
verdict forms for like 45 people.
Yeah.
There were so many counts. But 7:38 this morning they had the evidentiary thing and they were like, we just want the expert reports. Like, we're ready for the expert report kind of thing. But yeah, so a quick verdict is generally not good for a defendant. And it is one of my sources that tells me there was one holdout juror that wanted that wanted the reports. There was one specific juror that wanted those reports this morning. Now, someone asked me earlier what happens if that juror, like they're coming back to say it's hung or whatever. That actually did happen. I don't remember which case. It was fairly recently, and it was a big case too. They said like this juror is not discussing or debating in good faith, right? This juror had come in and was like, I'm voting this way. There's nothing you can say or do to, like, I'm doing this. And they yeeted the juror and brought in one of the alternates for deliberations. Like, it was clear this person would not even listen to deliberations. So I'm just saying
they better hurry up because I've got to bounce out of here in probably about
if you got to bounce
7-8 minutes. Yeah.
If you got to bounce, you got to bounce, and I will come over and update you.
That'll be good because I got a show to do at 4.
Yeah, go bounce. I'll come over and update you if you have to, Mikey.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yes. I have a show later. Well, I'll probably do it later tonight. I clipped a bunch of hilarious, like, Manning and Judge clips, some older, some newer, if you want to come join in on the fuckery and laugh.
Yeah. Somebody was just talking about Manning in another chat. I think it's, do you know To Be Flair?
I don't know To Be Flair. What I do know is the Law Racks. has been
Yeah.
streaming Manny stuff,
Oh, okay.
Manning stuff lately.
Okay, yeah.
Lorax has had a bunch of hers, so people are getting eyes on it.
My friend Tubi Flair has been like for weeks. She's just like, why won't anyone watch this? Watch her. So, yeah, I'm
Well-
totally down. I haven't checked into any of it at all.
Well,
people have been watching Manning for months now. At
Mhm.
least we've been covering Manning cases for at least a year.
Yeah, I've been watching Manning stuff. Manning will jump in the chat occasionally.
Oh, fun.
And she does send out emails. We got an
Yeah,
email
she
from
sends
her
out emails.
8 months ago. Yeah.
She'll jump in the chat. I did get into an argument with Simpson's court clerk, though. Those emails were epic. It was great. It was epic.
Unfortunately, with the Manning stuff, Judge Manning won't be doing any more of her TPO stuff live. It's all going to be, in person.
Oh, here we are, guys. We have
What does
Scott.
TPO mean?
My name is Scott Reich.
Temporary
This is
protective
Crime
order.
Talk,
Oh.
and we had word that the jury has reached a decision in the Letitia Stauch case, and that they were going to try to get everybody to reassemble in the courtroom at 1:30 p.m., which is right about now. Looks like we got a minute or two, so we will wait for that, and we will bring you the verdict live. Obviously, the biggest charge is the murder in the first degree after deliberation, and then the sundry of all the other charges, etc. And that's the big one. Now, obviously, the defense has claimed that she was
Scottish shady as hell.
legally insane.
I love it.
By entering a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity, which is basically an affirmative defense. And yeah, I did it, but I just wasn't crazy. And as we talked about in today's video, so for those of you who watched today's video, we talk about we're waiting for the jury, but now you know that we're bringing it to you live, so you don't have to bust my chops on that. Okay. But it's an affirmative defense saying, yeah, but I couldn't form the requisite intent. I suffered from this mental disease or defect. And obviously the defense had their one witness that said, she removed herself, had this dissociative identity disorder, and therefore she's not legally responsible. Now, I'm not sure if the jury's going to believe that, but if they did, she's not getting a free pass. She's going to the state mental institution down there in Pueblo, Colorado, where she will spend the better part of her life. But clearly it will be a much better quality of life. If you're going to have to spend your life in prison, you might as well do it at the mental state health hospital.
I mean, yeah.
I would.
But
Yeah.
so we'll see what the jury decides. If I was a betting man, I would think that the jury is not going to be too convinced, but you never know. I just don't think they're going to be convinced that she didn't know what she was doing. And that was the crux of the argument in the closings. Listen, nobody lies and gives so many versions of the event unless they're trying to cover it up and they're completely aware of what's taking place. And of course, the defense is saying it makes no sense. She's completely crazy at the time. And therefore, she just, you shouldn't find her guilty. We'll see what the jury decides. Obviously, now this case has
I love Scott.
gone on now.
Scott
for
lost
3
his
years.
shit over that 3-hour
And
meeting.
this appeared January of 2020. And here we are, 3 years in the making. I literally can remember the day that we started talking about it. I think it was on one of our live shows. We started talking about it. People started getting interested in it because, of course, there was the search. And, something just didn't seem right about the whole thing. And then next thing you know, they find Gannon's remains. So it's, I don't know, it's just sad and tragic case all around. I think most people have little to no tolerance as it relates to child abuse resulting in death, let alone, it's bad enough when somebody does something stupid, like a shaken baby or something along those lines.
Mikey, I'm looking for the video footage of when I had to take out the engine block on a car chase for you.
Your own
Oh,
side.
well,
Don't
I
go
need that.
around picking on kids.
I'm trying to find it. It's where I
Army
used
now.
my
It's
50
just
cal
not a good look
to
for
disable
anybody, you know what
a
I'm saying?
semi-trailer
So
stop a pursuit on the
a
freeway
real problem with that.
with
Everybody
several
does.
shots through the
But I've done
radiator
those
and
type of
into the
cases
engine
where
block with
children have
SWAT.
died.
Trying to
and I
find
get
it.
it. The defense was doing their
It
job.
was early in my career.
Just like we had a conversation.
There was no
on
social
our,
media yet.
Live show a couple.
You
I think it was
needed a
last week,
.edu
where a
email to
caller
use
was saying,
Facebook.
hey, you know, we live in this town where Lori Vall's attorney lives, and you know, maybe we're not so nice to them and kind of affecting them. And you know, tell them, hey, you know, you can go up to them, be nice to them, and say, hey, you know what? I hope your client loses and is found guilty, but thank you for doing what you do, because we need that in our criminal justice system. We need attorneys to take cases for the despised and the damned, and to make sure that their rights are protected, because in the process, they're protecting everyone's rights. Okay, I know a lot of
Guys,
people don't
before
think
he
so.
has to
Oh,
leave us,
victim
everybody go subscribe to
doesn't have any
Credence and Mikey.
rights.
I'm
The
sure you
defendant
all
has
already
no
are,
rights. Well,
but make sure you guys go
they're called
sub to Creed and
constitutional rights.
Mikey. One of my
And,
mods can put it up in the
you know,
chat.
you have to
Mayor,
protect
do your
the
job.
Of people that,
Yeah.
you know, seem like a
You
slam
throw
Earn
up
that money.
Mikey's.
we talked about this.
You
If,
throw that stuff up in the chat
You know, it's
for
good.
the
It's
lovely
good
Credence and Mikey.
when a
I
case
appreciate that. Thank you.
has
Oh, of course.
good defense attorneys that make the prosecution
So,
crawl over glass to get a conviction, because
hey,
then it
Philip.
stands up on appeal for ineffective assistance of counsel issues.
Hey, Philip.
They receive
Well,
due
we're just
process,
waiting on the court.
and there's no doubt
Let
that
me
it
check the
was
court
a
thing.
fair trial. That's what you want, because if we
I
let
have
the
like
government start
8
railroading
feeds open,
guilty people,
including
they'll
a
start doing it to
courthouse feed.
innocent
There's
people.
WebEx.
I guarantee it. They will. They do. So that's why it's so important to have a strong defense.
Somebody needs to tell
team
Ian
on your side
to not
whenever you're
post scary
charged
shit.
with
This
something.
may be a stupid question, but
So
is
we're trying
everybody
to
here
talk
on the
about
panel have a
1:30, but it
YouTube
looks like
channel?
we're getting close.
Yes,
Is that right,
everybody
Frank?
does. We
Because
well,
if
no, not
Frank
Patty.
doesn't
We
approve,
have
we're gonna
Divinity
send the
from
listeners to
Divinity
watch you.
Says.
I think just about every minute
Croco
of the
Squirrel, who's my
Lokificent trial.
tech squirrel,
And
but
we're waiting.
he has a gaming
You know,
channel.
it's not easy.
Oh,
to
Patty
get
is
everybody
my
there. Obviously the court
Patty
is
is my
located when
conscience
they say they have
that
the
tells
verdict.
me that calling people certain names is
The court's there,
maybe not
obviously. The
nice.
court
Hello,
staff's there. The recorder's usually
Gracie.
down the hall
Your
or
Jiminy
on a
Cricket.
different
Oh,
floor.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's
And
just as snarky as I am. Because like where you guys were talking
prosecutors,
about
their office
entering
down there in
like
El Paso
comments on
County,
comments.
I
Oh no.
believe
Hi
their offices
Debbie.
are like
You're
across
not
the
being
way.
ignored.
And private counsel, if they
Um
were, you know, normally the judge will tell you to stay
yeah,
close
no,
by, you know,
Mikey,
stay within 10 minutes
I
of the courthouse. That's not that
no.
difficult to do.
I wake up
in El
and
Paso
choose
County.
violence in
The
those
courthouse is downtown.
situations,
Not
trust
that
me.
busy, bustling of a downtown.
Yeah.
Are you talking
You
about
guys are
me?
the nice ones.
Whether you're
I'm the
prosecutor
asshole.
or defense.
I always tell
This is
people,
the
I'm like,
worst,
you don't have to announce your leaving. It's
probably
not an
one of
airport. You
the
don't got to
trials.
announce your
It's
departure.
bad enough
Bye, Felicia.
when they say, you know,
You're
the
not an
jury has to
aircraft.
deliberate because then you start worrying and pacing.
An
Did I
aircraft.
do enough? Did I?
When you become an
should I ask the
aircraft, let me
question?
know.
Should I done differently? Do what?
Because
Right.
Debbie,
that's
you're,
going to be
Debbie, I am
second-guessing
not
yourself.
ignoring you.
But
Listen
when
to
you
my
say,
voice. I am
or
not
you hear
ignoring
from the
you.
court that they have a verdict.
Yeah, if you have to
Again,
go off at
trial
any
attorney
point
never
for your
spoke to
stream,
us as
Mikey,
they
I'll pop
still
over
get
to
that
let you
sinking
fill you
feeling
in if
their
you need it.
stomach, like, oh gosh.
Awesome.
Here
And
we
Debbie,
go.
I'm not ignoring you
And
either,
no
Debbie. How
matter
are you?
how
Good to
Yeah,
see
hi,
you.
bad
Debbie.
of case it
Debbie,
may
what's
be,
up?
you think, oh, I probably
What's
shouldn't have
up?
won this one.
Lisa
So Debbie,
Still
B.
go in
she
there
asked, she
thinking,
wants to know if that's
"Frank,
Scott. That is Scott, right? That's what you said?
That is the lovely Scott Reich.
Obviously, we can't see the jury.
He's awesome. He's a super chill dude.
Like this, but wouldn't that
I
be
will have
great
to find
if
the
we could
clip
actually see
where
the
he
juries
reads his
reacting?
business card.
But I
The
understand for
back of
privacy
his
reasons, but,
business
you know,
card
usually the
is
jury's
something that he had printed on the
responses are just
back
like they are
to like
for all of us.
hold
Like, oh,
up
yeah, that doesn't seem right. That's not good.
while you
And you have to
are
remember, most
being
jurors,
pulled over.
defense attorneys, prosecutors,
Oh,
you're
no.
getting used
Like
to this stuff.
that's
Seeing dead
essentially
babies
don't
and
talk to the
kids
cop.
and
It's
people,
hysterical. I'll
just
have to
the,
find it.
I don't know, depravity
But
of mankind gets you kind of jaded.
Hi, Divinity.
So
Hi,
juries
hi,
are
Mikey.
exposed to a lot of this stuff.
Hey, Patty.
I
Hi,
finally
Patty.
made it.
You know,
Yeah.
literally,
fine.
a lot of jurisdictions.
I was
have
dealing with stuff
with,
because you know
counseling. If somebody
that's a
wants to
thing.
go to counseling, given the
Yeah, I
nature of the
know.
case, I mean, it can give you PTSD.
And I sound like a teenage
if you're not
boy
used
whose
to that
voice
kind of
can't
stuff.
stop cracking.
But that's what happens when you're on a murder case.
Put on your hat
Those
backwards,
photos,
grab your hoodie, embrace it.
that they were showing
Oh,
of
we
the
are tonight because
suitcase
I have been
that had
clipping
been down in the
in
water.
Manning, Simpson,
nice
and
air,
other judge
probably
insanity to amuse
Yay.
not
ourselves.
pleasant
What
to
time did you
see
say you were going to do
while
that?
decomposition
I'm
stuff
not sure what
takes
time I'm
place. Oh, here
doing
we
it
go.
yet.
Oh,
We got
Patty,
all
come
the
back.
I
judges
don't have a
assembled
camera
I
in the
did.
button over here
courtroom.
this time.
I'm still here. I just had
Okay.
to
They're not
switch.
on
I
yet?
had to switch off a phone
Oh.
and
Oh.
switch over to a computer so I
Okay,
can
hold
go
on.
grab your
Okay.
everything. It's that time.
All right. Court will call 20 CR 1358 People versus Letitia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury is not present in the courtroom. I've been advised that the jury has reached verdicts in this case. Before I bring the jury in, I want to remind everybody of a couple of things. First of all, if you have a phone out, put it away, unless you are in this front row. In addition, I know that this is an emotional case. I get that. I understand that. Really, I do. But this jury has worked hard. So regardless of whether you agree with or don't agree with their verdict, you need to exercise appropriate decorum. So let's not have any emotional outbursts or anything like that. And I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and bring the jury in. Now that I have you doing something else. Okay. But they all seem to be on.
I want to watch her meltdown.
Did you end your poll already? There's a couple more seconds for you to answer that poll.
84% is still saying guilty.
Hi, Lady Autumn.
Hey, Lady Autumn.
It doesn't matter to me.
All right, so we're in the courtroom
So long
now.
as it's broadcasting, I
We
just
have the
wanted to make sure
WebEx.
that was not the issue.
The court has summoned the jury, all the
93 to
parties,
6.
the prosecutor, the defendant, and the defense counsel are present. As you can see, they
Need some more likes,
don't
guys.
have anything out.
Okay,
to write
hold on.
because it doesn't really matter. They'll know exactly what the verdict is. The judge admonished everybody to maintain the appropriate decorum in the courtroom. No outbursts. No.
All rise for the jury, please.
Okay, the jury's here. I will be quiet and let's see what the jury has to say.
Thank you. May all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358 People versus Letitia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I see that juror number 5, that would be you, has all the instructions and things like that. That's usually a tip-off to me that you might be the foreperson. Are you in fact the foreperson? And has the jury reached verdicts in this case? All right, if you would hand the instructions and the verdict forms to Mr. Sproul, please. Thank you.
It's StreamYard, Frank.
All right, the verdict forms do appear to be in proper order. I will have a question for you because there's some extra writing on here, but I think I understand what's going on. So with respect to count number 1, charge of murder in the first degree after deliberation, we, the jury, find the defendant Letitia Stauch guilty of count number 1, murder in the first degree after deliberation. With respect to count number 2, charge of murder in the first degree, child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, we, the jury, find the defendant Letitia Stauch guilty of count number 2, murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust. With respect to count number 3, charge of tampering with a deceased human body, we, the jury, find the defendant, Letitia Stauch, guilty of count number 3, tampering with a deceased human body. With respect to count number 4, charge of tampering with physical evidence, we, the jury, find the defendant, Letitia Stauch, guilty of count number 4, tampering with physical evidence. I wanted to ask the jury, or actually the foreperson, there is some extra writing on here with respect to question number 1. There's a cross through and some initials. And then on part B, there's also a cross through with initials. Was that signifying that you were not answering that and you intended to answer guilty as to that charge?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is that what you intended with all of the other verdict forms?
Yes, sir.
All right. With that, does either side wish to have the jury poll the prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, what this means is that this is a process that is sometimes requested by the attorneys following a verdict to make sure that everybody has agreed on all parts of it. So I'll go down the row, starting in the back. Juror number 1, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 2, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 3, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 4, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 5, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 6, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 7, is this and are these your verdicts?
Yes, sir.
Juror number 8, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 9, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 10, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 11, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 12, is this and are these your verdicts?
We're going right to sentencing, guys, right to sentencing.
All right.
I want to thank all of you for your service. Jurors don't get a lot of training. However, you all were selected because you were willing to be open-minded and impartial, and were willing to make decisions based on the facts and the law. You, the jury, heard and saw the evidence. You paid attention all day, every day. Someone else may tell you they disagree with your verdict or some aspect of your service. They may want to express their opinion on the matter. However, we didn't ask them for any of their opinions. We asked you for your
I told you,
judgment.
judge is shady.
We asked you for your verdict based on the law and based on the evidence. Someone else may tell you they think they're better and smarter and more intuitive than all of you were. Ignore them. As a judge, rarely does a day go by that I don't make somebody in the courtroom mad. The fact that some people may disagree with your verdict or the law only means that those who disagree with you were not carefully selected to be fair and impartial. They did not take an oath to follow the law and to judge all of the facts, and they see it differently from you because they didn't see it all from the perspective you did. And they did not discuss the facts with 11 others who were also fair and impartial and sworn to follow the law. You decided this case. This verdict is your verdict. And this is the verdict in the case. No poll, no approval or disapproval, and no press analysis changes that fact. This is the verdict in the case. The press or someone else at some point may wish to talk to you. We live in a world of exceptional voyeurism in reality TV, and this is about as real as it gets. They may try to dissect the evidence, your thought process, and your decision. It's a free country. Anyone can ask you anything about your verdict. You can answer if you choose. They can also, however, respect your privacy. and allow you to contact them only if you want to talk to them. And if you don't want to, you don't have to talk to anyone about your verdict. If you do talk with someone, you can tell them as little or as much as you like. Someone may even ask you to give an affidavit regarding some aspect of your jury service. You're free to
Bye,
give an
Mikey.
affidavit. You're free to decline to
Bye
give
bye
an
and say hi
affidavit.
later. Bye, Mickey.
That is a personal decision you are entitled to make. If anyone continues to talk to you after you have told them you do not want to speak about the matter or becomes critical of you or your jury service, please report that incident to me.
Uh-oh.
Again, I want to thank you
Daddy.
very much for your
Bad
service.
dad.
Without honest people of our community serving on jurors, we cannot secure the right to a jury trial in this country. And it's a very valuable and a very important right. I want to leave you with some language from a case that was decided by the United States Supreme Court in Louisiana versus Duncan. In that case, an individual was denied the right to a jury by trial, or a trial by jury, sorry. And that case went all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court sent it back to the state of Louisiana. And it said, you need to give this man what the Constitution requires, which is a trial by jury. And when it sent the case back to Louisiana, it said, we believe that trial by jury is fundamental to the American scheme of justice. Trial by jury is more than an instrument of justice and more than one wheel of the Constitution. It is the lamp that shows that freedom lives. Without your dedication and sacrifice, that lamp would not shine as brightly as it does. So I truly thank you for your service. You are now discharged with the thanks of the court. And for the last time, all rise for the jury, please.
I always love it when they respect the juries like, and they all do. Make it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You may all be seated. I don't know how you want to proceed on sentencing. I do need to talk to the jury for a few minutes because I need to tell them some things about security issues, counseling issues, and things like that. So I do need to talk with them for a few minutes. I also didn't know if the family, the prosecution, anybody wanted to have some time to process the verdicts. I also understand that everybody's been here for 5 weeks, so I get that part too. So I'm open to whatever you want to do with respect to sentencing, but I probably am going to need at least a half an hour with the jury.
I think that would be appropriate, Judge. The people are obviously ready to go to immediate sentencing. I believe defense is as well. And,
Okay.
and I can tell you that the family's been thinking about this day for over 3 years. They're ready to go to sentencing as well.
Okay, then give me about 30 minutes and we will come back and proceed to sentencing at that point in time.
Nice.
All right.
Iris, you still
All right,
will
ladies and
see
gentlemen,
that
so
because
there
they're
you
going to
have it.
remand
After
her
5
into
weeks of
custody
trial,
and cuff her.
Letitia Stauch has been found guilty of murder in the first degree, murder of a victim under 12. And remember, those counts, the murder in the first degree is the most serious. It's life without parole. Any of those other homicides.
I don't think there was really a question that it was
They'll
coming.
merge into the murder count, which really doesn't matter. It's going to be life without parole. Plus, we've got the tampering and the human tampering with it, with the body, and the tampering of evidence. So that's class 4 felonies, 2 to 6. So she'll get life plus like 12 years. Obviously, the prosecution wants to go to immediate sentencing. As the prosecutor stated, the family of Gannon Stauch has been waiting 3 years. They want to get this done. They want to get this behind them.
All right.
There's no reason to set this matter over for a pre-sentence investigation report because it doesn't matter. The sentence is life without parole.
Iris, I
The
don't
Department of
think
Corrections will
we are.
place her at one
We
of the
may
2
still
women
see that when
facilities
he
that they
officially
have in the
tells
state of
her she's
Colorado.
going to jail.
One is in Pueblo, Colorado. The other one is here in the Denver metropolitan area off of Havana Road. And that's where she will spend her
I think if she has an outburst,
her
it's going
life.
to be when he announces the sentence.
She, as we sat there and watched her attorneys, they didn't seem particularly shocked or surprised by the verdict at all.
I wouldn't have been.
Frankly, neither did Letitia Stauch. They threw their Hail Mary of not guilty by reason of insanity. It didn't work. She doesn't look particularly too upset. It was her only chance that she had. She still has a couple of charges remaining. The attempted escape, and I think she got 2 escape charges. So we'll see if the prosecution will drop those. Or
Oh, she's tried to
if
escape.
They will come to
Oh, yeah,
multiple
she
times,
blocked
and
the
during
shit
her one
not long ago
escape,
in a case where it
she
was
took a
life
full
without
can of
parole.
Monster and
Client
bashed
had other
the
cases,
deputy transporting
and,
her from South
they just make an
Carolina
offer to
back
make
to
it concurrent
Colorado
with
in the
whatever she is
face
serving.
with a
Jeez.
full can of
Not a
Monster and
complex
tried to
case, not a
run.
whole lot of
Yeah,
appellate
she's tried
issues from
twice.
everything that I've seen.
That
As far
sucks for her.
as what the police did.
Scott's known to be one of the best
So I don't see a whole
criminal
lot of issues going up
defense
on appeal.
attorneys
The
in
jury
the country,
rejected
let
her
alone state.
claim of
If you talk like to
not
people
guilty
in
by
that
reason of
circle,
insanity. So
Mhm.
so
you
I
don't
mean,
really
like he
challenge the
really knows
evidence,
his
as the
shit.
defense really didn't do in this. They kind of owned it and said, yeah, let's get through this as quickly as possible so we can get our expert up, which, the doctor just crashed and burned. It was not good. So
C&P.
the
That's
judge
never
is going
good.
to do what most judges do, at least in all jurisdictions that I have been at,
Iris said,
other
should
than
have
maybe
requested
federal
Red
court,
Bull.
is they're going to go
Would
talk
it give
to the
you
jurors, and they're
wings?
going to personally thank them for their service on this case.
Where'd it
The
go?
jurors
Hold
usually
on.
ask, well, what's the sentencing range? I'm sure they all know it's life without parole. She's never going away. They're going to go to immediate sentencing. Sometimes the jurors will want to
Sandy, she
remain
had
in
shock
the
cuffs on her
courtroom
ankles.
to
Oh, she does? Okay, that makes
yeah,
sense.
I
I was
mean,
gonna
don't get me
say.
wrong. They're
She's got a
invested in
because
this
of the
case as well. They spent
escape
5
attempts.
weeks of their
She
life
had
showing up to
ankle
court,
cuffs
in this case 4
that
days a
were the
week,
shock ones.
so that they could, make sure that justice was done.
Yeah.
The important thing here, and I think the judge nailed it, is that these people were selected because they said that they could be open-minded.
Dr. Grandma didn't
Listen to
crash
the
and
evidence
burn. She blew up on the launch
with
pad.
full judgment until all the evidence is complete, and then to follow the
Dr.
court's
Grandma.
instructions and apply the facts to the law. And they determined that.
Okay, well, we're gonna hold on
Come back in half an hour.
1 second.
No, we can sit here and chatter for that long.
Well, we're going to. I just need to stop Scott in the background on my computer. Okay. And we'll pull that feed back up when they go to sentencing. Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Nice.
There we go.
What's the maximum she's gonna get? Life?
Life without it's an LWOP state, so life without parole plus 12 years for what she did to the body.
Oh damn.
That's
and
that's what they're talking.
Well, and she still has charges for 2 counts of attempted escape, assault on an officer of the law for smacking that deputy with the can.
So after that's a trial that'll happen while she's in custody?
Yes.
Okay.
Just like with Daryl Brooks, who recently was just back in trial on other cases, like on other charges that have been pending during his trial.
Yeah.
They'll go forward. And the reason they're going to she's getting LWOP, which is the life without parole. You have no choice. They don't have the death penalty in Colorado, so it's LWOP, like automatic. You're guilty. This is your sentence.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason they're going to give her the LWAT plus whatever 12 and they're still going to try the other one is because if for some reason she gets this case appealed or thrown out,
She'll
let's say
still be in prison.
prosecutorial misconduct, whatever, it still holds her.
Mm.
She's not going anywhere. Kind of thing.
Minimum sentence is life without parole. Murder one is mandatory life. Okay, so there's no. That's what I meant to say. I
There's
think there's
no option.
Well, and here's the other side
First
of
degree
that.
murder is life without parole in Colorado.
Mm.
End of discussion. And because she's an acute flight risk and's tried twice and assaulted somebody, which I'm sorry, I was gonna say I try to be nice, but we all know that's a lie some days. We all know some days that's a lie, so I can't even pretend. She was stupid enough to do it in freaking Leavenworth, Kansas. You dumb shit. You're gonna do this where the military maximum security prison is? Like they're not gonna find you?
Oh, and they most certainly will.
No, she didn't even make it across the parking lot. But
If I remember correctly, she was actually wearing the fun orange jumpsuit too.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have got her anywhere.
And her hands and feet were shackled to her waist, to her belly chain. But regardless, you're in Leavenworth. Like, you're not going anywhere even if you do escape. Because the people they're used to, hunting are literally, military criminal masterminds. And she is in Colorado where the Supermax is. Where, they're holding the Unabomber. And everyone from Guantanamo. And, the most notorious criminals ever. The gang leader for all of the Crips, they're all in Florence at the Supermax, which is federal. But it's on the same grounds almost as the Colorado Supermax. They're real close. It's in the same, they're right next door pretty much. And people forget that the Supermax, ADX Florence in Colorado, it is actually underground, right? It is built in a circle almost, and the backs of the buildings are in the ground.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Like literally, it's built into the ground, and the open area in the middle is like a courtyard. The Boston bomber is there. Every U.S. domestic terrorist is there.
What the heck?
The big difference is at the ADX, you have zero human contact. So most people are familiar that if you go to a Supermax facility in any state, you're out of your cell 1 hour a day, several times a week, kind of thing. But you still come up to the bars, get your lunch, or like when you're going to anywhere or to the rec yard, they take you. The ADX is unique as that you have zero human contact. It is essentially the jail cells have bars, right? And then there's like 10 feet, 8 to 10 feet, and another set of bars. Then there is 5 feet and another set of bars.
Damn.
And it's not going to get
Anubis, the federal supermax is. You're talking about the Florence, the state supermax at Florence. And there are several buildings that have 3-story wings. They do have a medium security facility on site. The buildings of the U.S. Administrative Supermax, ADX, are all built into the ground. You can see the fronts of the buildings, but the backs are all. So it's like 3 sets of bars, Div. So what they do is they go in between like 2 of the sets of bars,
Mm.
set the food down, and then they leave and unlock that first set, and you can come out, get your tray, and go back in your cell.
Damn.
So it's like a Sally Port almost.
Hmm.
You can't, you don't even take the tray from anybody. It's placed, and then you're allowed to get it. And then that third hallway I was talking about between like the door that they put you in
Hmm.
and the fencing area is because between, I think it's like between every 3 cells or 2 cells, there's a tiny little closet size rec yard. So when it's your turn to go to rec or to anything, they just unlock the bars and it's done computerized and you walk in. They
It's
don't
like
even,
the pound. Like they let one dog out, play in the grass, and then you go back in.
right, but the guards don't have any contact with them.
Yeah. That's wild.
So, you know what I mean? You have 0 physical contact. They also won't talk to you.
Ooh. Wait, what's that about? So the
Because, I mean, you have to admit, like, think about it. You have Ted Kaczynski. You have every major domestic terrorist.
Mhm.
You have the worst of the worst of the worst in
Mhm.
there. They're all very manipulative.
Yeah.
So they don't want them talking to officers and people that they may be able to manipulate them into
Yeah.
giving them stuff.
That's what I was thinking.
So there's no
That's wild.
talking to them. And the other thing people don't realize is there's virtually no picture or videos. There's a little bit here or there where you can see like parts of things, but there's no like videos. Like even channels like CBS and people
Mhm.
that do news stories, they're allowed to see almost nothing of it because of how dangerous the people are. But on top of that, when they built it, it is all poured concrete. So, unlike most prison things you see where, you know, there's toilets or like things in cells, the bed, it's a poured concrete block
Kapunk.
with like a super thin mattress. The toilets are essentially recessed and poured. Everything is.
So that
So-
it can't be used as a weapon.
Yep, you can't use anything as a weapon. It's one piece of concrete.
Damn.
Is-
Has no one ever escaped a supermax?
There
I'll
have
try to go up.
escapees from why the ADX at Florence was designed the way it was.
Oh.
And that's the other thing. The other people that are at the federal supermax that has everything poured is they'll take people like Letitia. If you've been able to escape a maximum security facility, or for some reason you cannot be at your state supermax, they will put them there. Like, there's a guy that's there from Pennsylvania who murdered several police officers, was at the supermax here in PA, and murdered 2 corrections officers.
Well,
And
that's
he
downright
ended up
unfairly of him.
there because he was not safe in the supermax because the guards were going to kill him.
Yeah, somebody gets that unneighborly. I'm not surprised,
So,
because that's very unneighborly. You shouldn't do that.
you know, kind of thing, Div. Like, if the state supermax can't hold you, they'll ship you there.
Yeah.
And what I can say is, and I have gotten to see part of it, which was epic. They take them in on an Apache helicopter.
Like that's the only way to get in and out?
No, they have gates, but that's how they transport people from other states
Why?
or from because otherwise, how do you fly? So you're driving across a country, which they did with Letitia, and she was able to attack somebody.
Oh, because of the
Or
type
they
of
will
prison.
put you on a plane. And I don't know if you've ever seen the U.S. Marshals moving somebody. I've been on flights that have had them, and like they are beyond the person is beyond chained and has shock cuffs, and there's multiple marshals with them. And then they put them in the airplane seat in the last row. They're surrounded by marshals. They're handcuffed to everything. And then they,
I've seen Con Air. I remember. I know what that's like.
but it makes Con Air look like nothing. Like they have so
Con
many
Air was
people.
a private jet.
Con Air was nope.
Con Air was the private jet compared to this.
Right. So because like a passenger plane, there's other people on it.
So they just use a helicopter and bring them in and out?
They bring them in by helo. And if it's too far for the helo, they will put them on a correctional private jet, take them to a military base, put them on a helo, and put them in. You know what I mean? And take them in. And a lot of the people that work there live in a compound. And the compound's gated and guarded so that people don't go after the guards and their families. So because like El Chapo Guzman, you have, Mexican cartel lords there.
Oh. Yeah, and they'll do a lot. They'll go through a lot to get through.
Hold on, let me find this for you guys. Let me find this real quick.
Have we completely abandoned the idea of the Supermax catapult?
Thomas, I think we agreed we were going with a trebuchet.
Okay.
Yes.
More accurate.
Unless, you're less likely to impact on the wall. You gotta with a standard issue fantasy type catapult, you gotta be really careful with those. You can do that; it's been done, but maybe you want to be a little bit on the careful side.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the one thing. Where is it? Hold on.
What are we looking for?
Hold on, I'll put it up in 1 second. Going to put it up for you in 1 second.
Anubis said, and FYI, Apache helicopter is a 2-seater attack helicopter.
I'm aware. Oh, okay, sorry, not the Apache. Well, might not be the Apache. They use essentially.
They probably use the Sikorsky helicopters.
You talking
because
about
those do have passenger seating.
That would be reasonable.
You're thinking of Huey or the cargo copter. Forgot the name. The
Sikorskys are the big ones that were military.
What's
that
that
are
one?
used in the
That
military
may
for
be
both
it.
passenger.
I don't know. Yeah, the Apache.
You have to-
They've
if
like
you have to
the
transport it-
Super
If you have
Cobra
to transport
gunships.
team, you're going to want to use you're going to want at least a nice Huey or a Blackhawk.
Yeah,
We use the Blackhawks these days. The old Hueys are, yeah. The old Hueys are a thing, but still, we use mostly it's the Blackhawk these days.
here we go. Hold on. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, some of us have had a really long day and weekend. So, hold on. Let me show you a picture. So here you can see the sunken building.
Where?
Should be showing it.
Okay, it's yeah. There's lag here, so
See,
Oh.
that's where. So while there are so there's that. Yes, they do have buildings there that are not sunken, but that's because they have other classifications of prisoners there too, kind of thing. But yeah, like they even have it so the window slats are at a strange angle so you can't see anything out of the windows.
What?
Like light comes in, but you can't look out the window, so you have no way of knowing where you are.
Damn.
Because they don't want you to have any orientation to where you are. Mm-hmm. Everything.
And that's where they want to send Julian Assange, or is he already there?
That's where he'll go. I don't know where he is right now.
oh, he's still in the UK as far as I know.
Yeah, even though Rishi Sunak did give the order to send Assange, he is not. It's my understanding he has not been moved at last check because he was fighting extradition still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sandy.
Not like he's going to be much of a threat now. That dude is broken.
Assange?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not. He's a wife and 3 kids.
That's not quite what I meant. Psychologically, I'm not sure that he's actually capable of that shit anymore.
Yeah, he is. His wife was a journalist that met him. Hi, Winter Soldier. Yeah, he has kids because they were asking him. She was a journalist when they met. And they're like, how do you have kids? He's like, well, yeah, there was cameras in the embassy where I am. But, like, we were able to have children and whatever. Hold on.
Thomas said, in Assange's fight with extradition, how many rounds are we talking here?
Hundreds of thousands by now.
Hold on.
Arto says, why doesn't anyone use ejector seats on a helicopter for death penalties?
Up
I
there
bet
you
it would
go.
do the job nicely. That's his wifey?
Yep.
How they raise children together while he's in jail waiting. Well, so these children were born while he chose to.
While he was at the embassy. She was a journalist that would like go visit him for meetings. And they developed a relationship and found an area of the embassy that
He
didn't
wasn't
have cameras.
married before he did that? I thought he was already married before he even...
No.
Nope.
No. She was a fangirl. And so she went to the embassy and like his bathroom, I think it was, at the embassy. You know, obviously there's no camera.
Mm-hmm.
So they would just go off camera and shack up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he has multiple kids. So yeah, it's insanity.
Sandy
Dude.
said, no counting for taste. Yikes.
Well, you know,
It's one way to guarantee he's not a cheater.
Yeah, pretty much. He's just batshit crazy. So, later tonight we're gonna have a party stream with some like funny clips of judges. If you want to join, Div.
Yeah. What time did you say? I asked and I think I already forgot.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'll probably do it at like 9. I'll figure
Eastern?
it out. Yeah, I'll let you know.
For sure.
But before I forget, so what the housekeeping matters I said I was going to address. You guys will notice I was very quiet over the weekend for the most part, right? I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. I am not accusing anybody, nor am I calling anybody out with this. Nor am I going to repeat this or give any details. Because I'm not giving this more attention than it deserves. If you harm the Beastie family, if you harm my mission, I do not take kindly to you. My bad side is not someplace anybody wants to be. I have said many times, if you truly piss me off, there is no place on heaven or in hell or on earth that you will be safe from my wrath. If you push me to a certain point, you will see a side of me that you don't ever want to see. And it is the same side of me people see when I am dealing with ERT stuff and preparing myself as a precision marksman. Somebody took it upon themselves to come after my community. Not only did they target my community, they reported me to YouTube. They reported something that happened on the channel to YouTube. And, well, Anubis, what they reported is what you are referring to when you apologized.
Oh, I'm so confused. Yay.
Something on the channel several of VCs were a part of.
Okay.
It was no big deal. Everybody was having fun. No drama.
Okay.
I mean, I'll come argue with you in Madcore or Farron if I want to start shit.
I feel you.
Oh.
But somebody else that was not Anubis, Anubis, I do not have an issue with what you did. I do not have an issue with anybody that was involved with the activity that was reported. My issue is with the person that took it upon themselves to intentionally misrepresent it to YouTube. The short version, Div, is somebody filed a report with YouTube saying that something that was happening on my stream was something it wasn't and misrepresented it.
Mm-hmm.
And so YouTube threatened to take my channel down.
Oh, nice. So this is what you've been battling with YouTube, trying to have like a communication with.
Oh, I've had plenty of communication. I didn't have any issues during the stream with, like, I didn't think what the people that were involved that are Lair members, like Anubis who's apologizing, I didn't take issue with what they did. It was innocent. I take issue with the person who took an innocent situation and misrepresented it and flagged it to YouTube for a violation. Because after the shenanigans on Friday, my micro Loki, as they refer to my little person, Div, ran a marathon. She was running, and I'm trying to get her ready for the marathon. And I'm getting messages and like YouTube bad girl smack you kind of messages. Right, Anubis, I understand that, but this person misrepresented it to a degree, and there has been changes, as Div can attest, to the terms and services with live streaming. And YouTube applying things the way they want. The essence is essentially this person accused me of rebroadcasting something without the consent of the person. And re-uploading this person's content. The problem is they were not broadcasting it. It was not like it was me screen sharing something from another YouTuber. It was a video of a game being played that people were playing. And the report to YouTube had to do with, hey, they are playing this that this person is streaming and they are involved in it, and she is rebroadcasting it. Because Croc and somebody else were rebroadcasting what they were doing while playing the game. So they twisted what was happening and reported it to YouTube.
Mean John said, how romantic. No, damn, flirt with her hard or whoever you are. That's one way to slide into someone's DMs. Shit. They're going to trauma bond with you, girl.
Nobody's going to trauma bond with me because
I'm just kidding.
You going to find yourself farther under a prison than Letitia.
That's a pain in the ass. I'm sorry. And especially when you're on the eve of hoping to be getting monetized within the next 6 months, to have a community guideline strike on your channel or any kind of that kind of shit, it looks bad. And it will make it just that much harder when you come to the monetization process.
Well, Div, here's the other problem. I don't know if you've seen it. They just changed. If you get your monetization pulled, they now block you out for 90 days.
90? I didn't know that. My friend Winning Reality, he got his monetization pulled, I think, like this week or something. Because
to him because they just re-upped it to 90 days.
Damn, I didn't realize that. Like
Yeah,
live streams and uploads, or live streams, or what happens? It's just you can't even apply for
you're not
for 90 days?
monetized. You're not eligible for things. It used to be like 3 weeks or a month or something.
Wow, that sucks.
You know what I mean? Like you couldn't
Mhm.
get remonetized for 3 weeks, I think. It's now 90 days.
It was
Mhm.
30. It's now 90. I
Yeah,
saw
it
that.
was
And if
30.
you think dealing with YouTube is difficult, try dealing with a partner of YouTube who's just like it's just a part of it that you click some buttons, you check some boxes. They're like, okay, now you can't do this. You're like, oh no, who do I talk to? What am I supposed to do about this? It's just a headache.
So, yeah, it's up to 90 days now. It's not 30 days. So, yeah.
That sucks.
And I'm fairly certain I know who it was, but I'm not going to make I'm not going to make accusations. I'm not going to call things out. I am just going to say, do not get on my bad side. You do not want to be there. And if you threaten the Beastie Fund, Div, did you hear about the Beastie Fund thing? So as of now, I have a policy that all the super chats and stuff I get, I keep separate. And then as Ardo and people can attest, when there's something that goes on in somebody's family, like Ardo lost a family member, we make a channel donation on behalf of the entire channel with that money.
Oh, cool.
We did it, Cool Clearwater, who's a long time like super supporter, his victim impact is restarted. Hold on.
Mean John said W in the actual F. Who reported what I wasn't listening? Anyone can type a TLDR. Some unnamed person reported Loki streaming, or Loki's channel streaming someone gaming, and the person reported it as like a stream snipe.
Hold on 1 second. I'll give a TLDR in 1 second.
Holy moly, this is why I misspell my words.
And this is why I don't have a channel.
Yeah, for real.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Jeff Davenport, JEFF-DAVENPORT.
Right.
I am Gannon's great uncle. I'm Albert's uncle.
That's awesome.
And my sister Debbie, who hopefully will be speaking in a few minutes, is his grandmother. Because I am a couple of steps away from him in relation, even though I have personal memories of Gannon and the loving, wonderful young man that he was and the great man he would have been. I want to leave the depth of impact to his parents. So I would like to talk about the breadth of impact. The preciousness of an 11-year-old's life is beyond measure, and all other impacts to all the rest of us pale in comparison to the loss he suffered himself. But this now convicted murderer did not just murder Gannon. She murdered all of the love and joy and encouragement and security he would have brought to all those he encountered throughout his life. She murdered his children and his grandchildren and all of the joy and love and encouragement and security they would have brought to all those they encountered throughout their life, and so on and so on. She murdered his junior prom, his senior prom, his high school graduation, his college years, his career, his marriage, his retirement, and his golden years. And it just goes on and on. Because of her crime, all of our fragile trust in one another has been further eroded. It's not an exaggeration to say that millions of people throughout the world have heard of this crime and will, as a consequence, be less trusting and more suspicious of those in whose care they entrust their children, even those who have loved and cared for their children for years. And because of her specious,
She's not allowed to.
cynical, calculated use of the NGRI defense in this case, those who are truly mentally ill will be treated with more suspicion and may not receive the help that they need. The reverberations of her murder of Gannon will ripple throughout eternity, and the impact of her crime is truly incalculable. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Allen?
Grandma?
Thank you, Judge. It's Veronica Birkenstock, spelled Veronica, Birkenstock, Birkenstock. I am Landon's Aunt Veronica, or Aunt V, and his great aunt. Nothing in life prepares you for the murder of a child. No one ever thinks this can happen to your family. A little over 3.5 years ago, I got a call, a very dreaded call, that I needed to come and be with Landon. For over 3 years, I have dear left her side in all the hearings, all the motions, and all the hearings that the defendant decided not to come to because she didn't think it was important. But regardless, we showed up, and we showed up for Gannon. I want to talk about forgiveness today because as a Christian, I have to forgive, not because I want to, because human flesh does not want to. The judge today, on behalf of Landon and I, we want this court to know that we have forgiven Letitia for what she did. God is the ultimate judger. But I pray today that you, Judge, will give her what she deserves on this earth and will let God do the rest in eternity. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I would like to leave this Bible. And at some point in time, if you think it's okay, to give to Letitia as she serves her life sentence. And we hope that will be the punishment that you render shortly. But this is a life application Bible. For the rest of her natural life, I hope she will read the Word of God. And I hope that she will turn from her evil ways and the things that she did to our family. I have sat here for 6 weeks, and I have listened to the horrendous things that she did to my nephew. I don't want the last memory of him to be what she did to him. Our last memory of Gannon was one of fun, love, joy. So articulate, and despite everything, he was gifted and intelligent. He wasn't supposed to live. The day he was born, the doctors told us he had really no chance. He weighed 1 pound and a few ounces. I'll never forget the picture that Albert sent when he took his wedding ring and it would fit all the way to his shoulder. For months, I saw Landon and Albert pray over their baby. And one of the happiest days was the day he got to come home. And I was there with them. I got to spend the first night holding him for the first time and looked in his beautiful little eyes, and he fought so hard to get there. His 11 years did have impact. And I want us to remember again, and it's who he was, not what this evil deed did to his memory. He is our hero and will always be our hero. Letitia tried to steal many things from my niece. She called her a drug addict. She called her homeless when she was in the hospital having her 3rd child. She was there for months and months trying to save her life and her baby. She wasn't homeless. Landon's a good mother. She loved her children. And she loved Gannon. And her only son was taken away by someone who was just ferociously jealous of my niece. With all that being said, I pray that you will give her the sentence that she deserves. But I also pray that God will forgive her if she repents and turns from her evil ways.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Allen?
She's not, guys, Letitia can't turn and look at them, and they're not allowed to directly address Letitia. You can make your statements to the court.
My name is Bob Rogers, B-O-B, R-O-G-E-R-S. My wife Patty and I are grandparents to Lena and Gannon, who we never had the opportunity to meet in person. Over the past couple of years, there's been a lot of tears and challenges with Al of hopefully walk through the tragedy. The person that comes to mind for me is Lena. Lena is Gannon's younger sister. And we have the opportunity to be grandparents to her. And she's a beautiful child. She sings beautifully. She's talented. What she doesn't have is an older brother to stand beside her as she goes through her life. She still mentions Gannon quite often, her brother. We never want the spirit of Gannon or the memory of Gannon to be lost. So I just am a loss for words. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
No, Amanda, you're not allowed to. It's a rule of the court. It has to do with U.S. law.
I'm sure they'd love to.
It's to keep decorum.
I am Deborah Pierce, P-E-A-R-C-E. Sorry. Gannon's grandmother.
This
And I
woman's
just
gonna have
wanted
an
to
MI
thank
on
you,
screen.
first of all, Your Honor, for this court. Everything that's been done for everyone who has so carefully and impartially cared for this case, for this loss of this precious child. And I feel that if Gannon were here today, he would say, please, please protect my family and be concerned for the loss that they've had. This has gone from my children to my grandchildren, little children who lost a cousin who never understood why something like this could happen. If he were here today, he would say, please take care of my family. Make sure that they're protected as time goes on and as this life goes on. And obviously to help us to go forward in this life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, Your Honor. My name is Landon Bullard, also referred to as Hyatt in this case, but Bullard's B-U-L-L-A-R-D. I miss you, Gannon, and I love you to the moon and back again. I know every day you're with me and your sisters, but that will never be taken away. The ache that I have for you, to hold you, to hug you, to tell you how much I love you, and to see your smile and your innocence. I remember all the pain your dad and I suffered with having children. It was never easy, and we were always fearful through the process. On September the 29th, 2008, our lives were forever changed. Our first biggest blessing came into the world, weighing only 1 pound and 6 ounces. You fought all the odds and developed a personality and a smile that's larger than life. You became my hero that day. You forever changed my heart and my life, and that will never change. That is something that can never be taken away from me. You came into this world fighting. And unfortunately, you left this world fighting. Your Honor, she fought against someone that he loved and trusted. Someone that myself and Albert both trusted and loved. Someone who could never understand what it means to love or trust anyone but herself. For more than 3 agonizing years, I've often wondered what I may say, or if I would even be able to. For 3 years, I have questioned every single possibility and scenario. For 3 years, I have tried to forgive you, but I can't. I want to. But no parent should have to bury their child. No parent should have to see or hear the horrific things you have done to the whole family. She has taken away the most precious gift in this world. Not just my family, not Al's family, but your own family. She destroyed dozens of lives, lives of people who never wanted to believe that she could have done this. She knew how special Gannon was, and she knew what meant the most to me. I, in my heart, can never understand her hatred and insecurities. When it came to me, I did love her. Mother to mother, I trusted her with my children while trying to survive a complicated life with my 3rd child. And she used every opportunity to write a narrative of my life to try to take pieces of my life. When she already took some of it, that still wasn't enough. She searched. I lost my place. I don't know where I'm at now. She searched so hard for love when all along she had it, but she took it for granted. I didn't hold anger against you then. I still kept my heart open to her. You had so much love from Lena and Gannon, from Harley, her own daughter, that you willingly subjected to the chance of serving time for her crimes. Such an indicator of her inability to love anyone herself. You had support, appreciation for me, even when we couldn't see eye to eye, because I valued her for helping me with our children when I physically couldn't. Even when I was fighting for my kids, as you wrote, a false smear campaign against me and my children, and also Al. For me, I still appreciated that they were loved by you. So I thought. She had everyone fooled. She projected abuse and addiction claims against all of us, not just me, when all along she was the one harming innocent children. Anything to take the light off. Manipulating us, breaking my kids, and murdering my son. I can't say that she ruined my life, because that would be some form of sick victory for her. Because even through this process, it's been a game to her. The people who listened doesn't know her style or her sly jabs. She's even made at Albert and I. They do not know the significance of certain things she says or does. But we do. Instead of allowing her to take that power of hurting me further, I wanted to tell you this. Let me tell you what Gannon has done. Even to this day, even after you murdered him and she tried to taint any positive image of him, he has caused families and communities to come together. Children and adults have given their life to Christ. He has called unity in times of trial. He is a hero. She even tried to steal that away. A cape, huh? The one image of Gannon that was created for the world. After it went national, TV begging for the return of my son, my hero. How dare her? How truly sick and cruel is she? You stole so much from this world. Gannon's cousins, aunts, uncles, sisters, new siblings, grandparents, and friends are missing a huge portion of their lives without Gannon. Lena is missing her brother. Your Honor, I've never seen a bond between two siblings so close as theirs. She had to take that. Why? I'm afraid we may never know that answer, will we? I show his baby sister, Nova, pictures and videos of Gannon so she will always remember who he is, because she stole him from us. He is not forgotten and never will be. And it's so sad to sit here today and face her, a person even Gannon loved, one that I know while she was attacking and killing him and fought for his life, he defended himself against her, still loving her. A love she never deserved from him for what she has done. While she is too much of a coward to even come forward with the truth, she owes it to Gannon. But the lack of remorse and the lack of respect to Gannon through this child, her lack of compassion shows me that she and we were all wrong. She manipulated all of us, and never loved Gannon, Lena, or Harley. I've sat here for over a month having to listen to her sick lies, even as she tried to destroy who I was and Albert as a father. I've had to sit and listen and watch every reenactment of images no one wants left in their mind. You wanted to leave us with that, knowing it would torture us. But you underestimated me.
Amen.
I am Landon, Gannon's mom, and that will never change. Through my hurt, anger, and pain, I will never be the monster that she is. I can never be filled with the hate that her heart holds. I pray that we will never have to look at her face again. I will continue to hold on to my faith. Vengeance is not mine, as I surely wish it could be at times, but it's the Lord's. I have to trust in that. Thank you, Judge Warner, for your compassion, your patience through this trial. I want to thank the juror for their attentiveness and time that they took for justice for my boy, to the detectives, officers, legal team for every single second they've poured out into Gannon's case, and to the community for your countless hours. Tisha, that was her biggest mistake. You underestimated this community and this defensive team, Lorson Ranch. They searched for and fought for Gannon within hours, and they never believed your lies from the moment they started. None of these people ever gave up on him. You never looked. All of these people I will forever hold close to my heart. Always Gannon strong. My G-men forever. Justice has been served today.
Amen.
Your Honor, I pray that you just give her the best sentencing, the longest sentencing that you can. This will not bring my son back, but I can sleep soundly for the first time in 3 years, knowing that you can never harm, this defendant can never harm anyone again, knowing Gannon will always be a true hero in a cape. He will always be my son. That will never be taken away.
Whew.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Allen?
The family has conducted themselves with a level of grace that's rare to see.
Once
like
I
that.
was 7 years old, my mama told
What's happening?
me, "Go make yourself some friends or you'll
I
be
don't know
lonely." Once I was 7
what's the
years
song?
old.
Who is this?
I
I
guess
don't know.
that's Gannon. Gannon
It
and
was a
Lena doing
big,
the
big
same.
world, but we thought we were
Oh, it's a
bigger.
video.
Pushing each other to
Oh,
the limits, we were learning quicker.
Al Stauch, Gannon's father, capital Father. Last name Stauch. Stauch. I'm gonna start with something from my wife. Not to go out of order, but she didn't think she could make it through it. So this is my wife, Melissa, and these are her words. Some may say or think that I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Tisha. In part, that may be accurate, and I would be okay with that, because then Gannon would still be here. I too know the pain of losing a child. There is no greater pain. We are now lifelong grief partners, as this is a lifelong journey of pain with 2 sons waiting for us in heaven. I have some words from my daughter, Elena. I will address in the middle of my speech, but they're written in yellow, so I don't know if I should leave it to a child. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever God may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of the wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. and yet the menace of the years finds shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The poem I read is named Invictus, translated from the Latin means unconquerable. I quoted this same poem at Gannon's memorial here in Colorado Springs back in August of 2020. Why August of 2020? When his body was ripped to shreds on January 27th? Well, testimony, his body was found 1,370 miles away. And then the process to identify his maggot-infested remains withheld him from us until July 2020. As I stated in my testimony on the stand, Gannon was born severely premature and barely filled my two hands the first time I held him. At the end of his life, after his body was cremated into a pile of ashes, he was ultimately no bigger than the first time I held him. As brutal as the wait became, I'm thankful to God and the bridge workers for finding him and returning his precious body to Landon and I. I quote the poem Invictus again, not to boast of my strength and perseverance, Your Honor, but to say to the world, I alone can control my actions and reactions. Your Honor, I refuse to allow anger to poison my soul and orient my life to a pursuit of vengeance. I refuse to allow pain to carry me through each day and promote the pursuit of medicinal retribution toward the offender. I refuse also to let my mind be clouded by inconsistency and emotions that deter me from the purpose in this life. Your Honor, the price I pay each and every day for this resolve is to only get pieces and parts of my son. Inconsistently through time. But the pain is too heavy and the anger, the desire for vengeance too vexing. Instead, each and every day I pursue peace. I seek joy in my life and let the love I have for my wife and family flow in and out of me like a mighty wave. As I told Tisha regularly at the end of our relationship, my joy is mine alone, and she cannot rob me of that. I will learn to experience G more and more as time goes on, but as I did my best to instill into his precious soul, love, joy, service, and kindness are the pathway to take in life. This picture shows that in the 4th grade, he already had a mind for service. Throughout these past 3 years since Gannon was beaten and drugged, carved up, shot at point-blank range, and discarded like yesterday's garbage, I've encountered many people that would figuratively do the same to me. I've been questioned, compared as Tisha did to my abusive father, and ridiculed for my approach to finding Gannon. I hope now that the world has seen that I was assigned the most arduous task of finding Gannon in the only place that was possible for him to have been in the mind of a killer. Were my efforts fruitful? I believe so. But from the moment I did not see the Volkswagen Tiguan, or however you say it, at French Elementary on that Tuesday evening, a clear direction for finding Gannon pointed directly and precisely at Tisha. While others online, some who are even in the courtroom today, questioned my perceived lack of effort or concern, I stood still and stood firm in knowing that only one person had the information needed to find Gannon. Now I say woe to the person who questions a father's resolve when the safety and well-being of his children are at stake. I did not waver. I did not falter in the pursuit, nor did I allow the mentality of the mob to shake me. But it was only by the grace of God that Gannon's precious body was finally found. In Mark 4:39 of the Bible, in the middle of the storm, Christ arose and rebuked the wind and said, "Peace, be still." In times of trial in my life, from seeing my father being taken away in handcuffs, seeing that sweet 1 pound, 6 ounce baby boy for my firstborn son being put into a Ziploc bag after he was born to help regulate his body temperature, and now searching for and never finding my son again, I have but one choice, and that is the times of trial and tribulation to have that peace and be still. As I alluded to previously, that stillness does provide an easy target for many who do not understand peace, hope, and even faith. Some, including Tisha, feasted on my stillness, attacked, and yes, left several scars. One of these scars comes in the form of the financial and residential ruin that began in the early days of this ordeal. I'm just going to skip this part because I don't want to make this any more about me. I'm not seeking any restitution, Your Honor. For the $1.50 a month I received from the defendant, Tisha, would just keep me connected to her for the rest of my life, and I don't want that. So absolutely no restitution, Your Honor.
Yeah.
The murderer of which I speak was not always such. When I met Tisha, she was beautiful, extremely intelligent, as many have testified to, and a seemingly successful woman. A far cry from the nappy-headed, murderous, narcissistic, arrogantly flippant human being that sits in our midst today. Having a background in teaching, social work, higher education, certified babysitting, and endless amount of credentials, that should render one trustworthy when it relates to the safety of children. However, although she remains too much a coward to state the facts of what she did to Gannon, too much a lily-livered, self-centered, pathological liar to ask for forgiveness, and too much the facade of one who actually cares for others, have taken her frustration out on an adult, or one who could defend themselves, she will one day give an account through her words or through her time. Sending pictures of Gannon sleeping to Landon and I was telling, as the boy looked pale and absent of the energies that so defined him. This is what a happy, healthy little boy looks like when he's sleeping. The next picture. That's what a little boy sleeping looks like. These pictures on the screen are of a happy, healthy little boy that's sleeping sweetly, healthily where he lay. The impact Tisha had as a result of this heinous crime stretches far wider and far deeper than I could depict through my statement today. 2 other people torn to pieces as a result of this are Gannon's sister, Lena, and Harley. Speaking of Harley, I feel as though I've lost 2 children as a result of this tragedy. One of which I will never see on this earth again, and the other which I do not know if a relationship can be salvaged with. Now for Lena. The video you saw as submitted in evidence, her bebopping down the street, is actually an excellent depiction of Lena and her happiness and her joy in life. She is very loving, trusting, and at times way too social. Normally, you might be concerned by your little girl talking to the utility guy working in the front yard, but in this case, it was the inside of her own home that was of grave concern. Nonetheless, her loss, Lena's loss, is like none I can even imagine. She lost her big brother, her only brother at the time. I still do not know if she has fully processed or fully understands the gravity of the situation, but regardless, has pressed forward and is thriving as best as she can. I am so proud of her. And these are her words. Once again, they're in yellow, so I'll do the best I can. And this is what I asked her if she wanted to say anything to Tisha, and this is what she said in her sweetest mind that she has. That you do not do that to people, especially your stepkids. And that it is never all right to do these things. How sweeter of a response can you get? Now for my precious, premature firstborn son. Get it? I never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought you'd be in danger, buddy, or I wouldn't have not left you. At home with what turned out to be your murderer and the last person to ever see you on this earth. I'm so sorry. Through a father's eyes, children are truly a gift from God, and among the best and most perfect creations God can make. Your Honor, I do need to clear one thing up with the defense. It was said both in the opening statement and in the closing, somehow Gannon has been compared to a demon. And I understand the process, I do. But if they want to take the case up of Gannon being a demon, I will line people up from Alaska to Denver to Colorado Springs, all the way to South Carolina to testify against them. Gannon was nobody's demon. I don't care how much anyone was abused or anything. He was not anyone's demon. Oh, okay. Gannon was truly... Gannon was truly my buddy. Very recently, before he died, the most alarming thing he did was call me dad. Up until age 10 or 11, I was daddy. But in the last months of his life, I was just dad. A signal that he was coming into those junior high, pre-teenage years. Another amazing thing that is he finally started asking me regularly to play ball with him. He was never too much into sports for most of his life, but that last 6 to 9 months, he really started enjoying playing ball. Some of the most memorable times were him running little 5-yard football routes in the street in front of our house. Most of the time he dropped the ball, but he kept asking, let's do it again. I almost had it that time, Daddy. Oh, and that Nintendo Switch. One of the most difficult pieces of evidence to give up was his Nintendo. His dad probably has the most of him on it. Knowing I may never see that again is truly devastating. For him, many of his games were not just games, but a challenge to overcome, as I made him beat specific games before I would buy him the next one. I remember not long before he died, him beating the old school Zelda game he had. As he felt he was getting close to beating the final monster, he paused it, ran upstairs, and we sat at the kitchen island, and he beat it right there together with me. He was as excited as I ever saw him. With all of that and all of the pain of only being able to see him play through the one YouTube video he was able to make, which I'm about to play, I can sleep in peace at night because the father I am and the son he is was culminated as always in our final embrace as he ran out of arms and downstairs to watch Pokemon, I in his heart and he in mine. If we could try to play that video, just maybe the first 10 or 15 seconds of it.
Hey guys, and today I'm about to play some Sonic Mania.
Alright, let's zoom in.
And yes, cameraman is right here. Durpa Star White Gaming. And yes, sign up for our channels. We're going to be doing a lot of these together. Give a shout out to him, his channel, Freedom.
Thank you. I was one of the many he hoped to make and the only one he was actually able to make. I do want to add something that I don't have in my speech that me and Landon already had a conversation about this, and I owe her an apology as well as she already gave me one, that we allowed Tisha to manipulate us into some of the pain and disagreements that we had between one another. And Landon, I'm sorry. But I will say this, Tisha was not the glue to keep everything together. She was not the answer. And this is not a jab, Landon, okay? But Lena still lives with me. Tisha, you were not the answer. Now, Your Honor, if I have any influence on the final sentence for Tisha, first I ask to be stripped of my last name immediately.
Oh, yeah.
It's nauseating and infuriating to hear her called Miss Stauch this past 3 years.
Amen.
Secondly, I ask that for every mile she drove Gannon across the country, she spent 1 day in solitary confinement.
Ow.
That take us in between 3 and 4 years. After that journey is complete, I recommend her sentence be equal to every year she stripped off of Gannon's life, which for the average male in America right now is 77. So that would give her 66 more years in addition to the 11 he lived. Lastly, for every year of Harley's life that she abusively manipulated that child, she should have an additional year of prison. That adds 21 years to the total. I think without parole, that should suffice. I pray also that Tisha lives the fullest and happiest life that any inmate possibly can live. I also pray that every night before she falls asleep, her last breath before she drifts off sounds just like the breath that she describes Gannon breathing as life left his body. And that all through her sleep, she dreams of all the fun they had at Disney and other places we went throughout our time together. And that every morning as she is about to wake, the end of her dream, the last words Gannon spoke to her, screamed or cried, "Tisha, stop! You're hurting me. Why, Tisha? Daddy, help me. I want my mommy. Why couldn't you let her just be a mama's boy? That's all he wanted to be. He just loved his mama. I wish she would tell me what those words were so I would know. And then as she speaks those words, the sound of a gunshot goes off and she wakes. Every day and night, I pray she relives just those moments and then wakes up to a nice, warm, and kosher breakfast. In conclusion, I would like to share a picture of Gannon in his final state and final resting place, and thank everyone that has had a positive impact on my family and I. To everyone that has shared the positive impact Gannon has had on your life, from a proud and broken father, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I'd like to pause until we can get that last photo up.
I'm sorry, my man is the king of shade. Give her kosher food. I want to wipe the attitude off that, like, smug-ass attorney's face who's being disrespectful as fuck looking at the ceiling.
Not getting a feed from your laptop.
Between her and the fucking defense attorney with his leg crossed, twiddling his thumbs, looking at the ceiling, I want to knock his ass out of a chair.
It's fine. Oh, there it is.
I'd be going to contempt, to jail for contempt.
Thank you, everyone.
I'd have knocked that freaking attorney out of his chair.
Yeah. So that was the prosecution allowing the family, friends, victims from the neighborhood to speak. Obviously, Al Stauch just spoke, and again, his mother spoke as well. Throughout the process, Letitia Stauch just sat there, staring ahead, sometimes staring away, with what she's done throughout the trial, which is basically try to be small and not be seen, as you can see her there on the screen. No emotion, and obviously the attorneys, what can you do there? I mean, this is the victim's opportunity to speak. Now the district attorney will speak.
I think that concludes the comments from family and friends, Judge. So I'm not sure if you're ready to hear sentencing comments from me or if you want to do a different process.
Let me hear the sentencing comments from you. The last person that I always hear from in a sentencing is the defendant. So
okay. Can I have just a moment?
You may go ahead.
Son of a gun.
I'm sorry, the one defense attorney in the gray that was like staring at
caution. I would ask the court to keep restitution open for a period of time. Obviously, Mr. Stauch is not asking for any restitution, but there may be some that we want to submit, and so I would ask the court to keep that open.
Well, based on the new case regarding timelines, I'm going to give you 49 days to submit an order.
Thank you.
If there is an objection, you'll need to file the objection within 14 days after that. And that'll get us all right. So 49 days, 14 if there's an objection, and if there is, we'll have a hearing.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Judge, I'm not going to make a long drawn out statement. I think the comments from the family and friends of the Stauch family said it better than I ever could about the impact that Gannon had on their lives. The loss of Gannon from his family and to this community will never be made right through this process. We all know that. The defendant, through her own actions, tore Gannon's family apart.
They're not going to let her allocute.
And at the same time, I've never seen a community come together the way this community did in the face of such tragedy.
Beat grease soup, man.
over an 11-year-old boy
Twiddle
who most
your
of us never
thumbs
knew.
looking at the ceiling. Knock his ass out of a chair.
The defendant manipulated this community, Gannon's family,
I'd go to jail for clotheslining
the
someone.
investigation. Been a prosecutor for a long time, Judge. You've seen a lot of cases. I've never seen the kind of horror that this defendant brought down on a community and a family. The torture that Gannon had to suffer in the last moments of his life are unspeakable. No matter what sentence you give us, Judge, and I know what that sentence is going to be for the most part, no matter what the sentence is, we'll never bring Gannon back. But it will go a long ways towards healing this community. I hope healing Landon. I hope healing Al. They're going to live the rest of their lives second guessing every decision they made as it relates to leaving their children in the care of this defendant. Through no fault of their own. Judge, on count 1 and count 2 merges into count 1.
Just like Scott said.
The only sentence available is life in prison without parole. As to count 4, tampering with a deceased human body, driving Gannon's body over 1,300 miles away, hiding it from view, hoping it would never be found. Ask for the maximum sentence of 12 years, Judge, and that it be running consecutive to the life in prison without parole. Tampering with physical evidence is an F6. It's 1 to 1.5 years. I ask that you give max on that as well and run that consecutive. Judge, we do have that other pending case, 20 CR 3170, hanging out there. In the grand scheme of things, well, I'd love to prosecute this defendant for that charge as well. In the interest of justice, I would like to see this defendant in Department of Corrections custody as soon as possible. And so we are dismissing that count or that charge.
Ooh.
Thank you, Judge.
I am not surprised by that. And
They
for
can
exactly
still
what reason.
rebring it.
All right, at this point in time, the defense has an opportunity to present statements in mitigation. Mr. Tellini?
Dude, shut up. Don't open your mouth.
Elaine, your mic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Divinity,
Give
you're
me
a
an order.
hoot. This is why I
And,
enjoy watching you.
Ms. Stauch, I heard what your attorney had to say, but I need to hear it from you. You have a right to address the court at this point in time regarding any matter that you want me to consider for sentencing. Do you have anything that you wish for me to consider, ma'am? All right.
Yes, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and this is a miscarriage of justice. That's what she's gonna say.
Go ahead.
Consider this or request to admit, reflect a request for further places in San Carlos.
I don't have the ability to do that.
Debbie, they
DOC
dismissed
determines,
each
where,
charge
its
of
inmates go.
escape.
And I'm not going to make a recommendation one way or the other.
She requested which prison they send her to.
Can I
get a
Yeah.
beach view?
I'm going to apologize before I do this. I've heard a lot. I want to take about 10 minutes to put my thoughts in order.
All right.
I'll come back with my sentencing at 3:25.
All rise.
Oh, come on. I really wanted to hear her talk.
Oh, is she in handcuffs? I didn't realize that before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they cuffed her as soon as she was
Yep.
found guilty.
Mic on.
Oh, okay. I missed
She's
that.
remanded.
Break
How much for her
10
civilian
minutes
court
to
privileges?
collect his thoughts on how he wishes to proceed. And right there at the end, Letitia Stauch is literally smiling and talking to her attorneys. Certainly she has a right to do whatever she wants to do, but not a good look. Not a good look. So, a couple of things to kind of recap. Obviously, Letitia Stauch was found guilty of murder in the first degree after deliberation. She was found guilty of murder of someone under the age of 12. Those merge. So her sentence is going to be life without parole. The only question for the judge is the tampering, which is a class 6. That's 12 months to 18 months in prison. And the tampering with a deceased human body, the act of driving from Colorado to Florida, the prosecutor asked for the maximum penalty there of 12 years. So, we're looking at life plus 13 years probably is what it is. I'm not sure why the judge had to take a break. Who knows? Maybe he needed a potty break. Maybe he needs to say exactly, kind of collect his thoughts as to what he's going to say. So he's going to take 10 minutes in which to do that. And then obviously we heard from Letitia Stauch's, or not Letitia Stauch. We didn't hear from her at all. We heard from Ganesh Stauch's grandmother, mother, father, aunt, uncle, grandmother, who obviously, say that they've been robbed and Ganon's been robbed of his life and all the things that come with it, the good and the bad. And, there's not much else what you could say about that. So it's sentencings are always tough because they've been waited for so long. But as I told you, the judge is going to tell them you have to direct your comments to the court, not directly to Letitia Stauch. And they, all the speakers abided by the court's
guys, I have
rules
to
there,
step
and they
away
thanked
for
the
a
court,
minute.
They thanked the district attorneys because
Okay.
this has been 3 years, 4 months since Gannon
We'll continue
disappeared to where we are right now. For the jury to find her guilty. Like I said, she's going to get life without parole. So she's going to get life plus probably 13 years. I don't think this judge is going to give her any sympathy whatsoever and make those other cases, those other charges consecutive to the first degree murder charge. Additionally, the district attorney, although I don't think showing her any mercy whatsoever, said, I'm not going to prosecute the other case because it'll probably take another year to get to court, another year to get the verdict, and another year of her sitting in the county jail. So prosecutors dismissing her other charge, the escape case, attempted escape, so that she can start her journey to the Department of Corrections, where I'm sure she will be met with lots of angry women in there who, in whether it's male prison, female prison, they don't take lightly or kindly to anyone that kills kids, bottom line. So I don't think she's going to have a good time. And she can play with this darkness that she's trying to portray. I don't know if it was, I'm trying to look crazy, whatever. Just weird. Okay. Just weird. And so obviously the defense is given opportunity to present any statements in mitigation. The one guy that we really wanted to listen to was the defense attorney, right? And there's no mic on his side. I don't know if they moved him or what, moved the microphone from his table, but we could not hear him. I think what he was saying when the court said give him an order was basically to, we're going to appeal this and, we moved to withdraw, ask for her to proceed in form as pauperous so that she gets court-appointed appellate counsel and doesn't have to pay for the transcripts herself. The taxpayers will do that for her.
Oh.
And then the court said, hey, I want to make sure.
Okay, I'm back.
Ms. Stauch, is there anything you want to say? She said no. Had to kind of read lips there. And then the attorney spoke with Letitia Stauch, and then he asked for some sort of recommendation. And the court declined to make any recommendation as it relates to a particular facility in the Colorado Department of Corrections system. There's 2 facilities here in Colorado for women, one in Pueblo, Colorado, not far, just south of Colorado Springs. I think it's maybe 40 miles or something. And then the other one is here in Denver. I don't know which one she asked for. Doesn't matter. The Department of Corrections is going to determine what is the appropriate housing facility for her. She will be put on the bottom of the list for any types of classes, work, rehabilitation, because she is going to die in prison. That's just the way it is. She's going to die in prison. It is life without parole. Life without parole in the state of Colorado means that you will die in prison. It doesn't mean life and you'll get out in 30.
Well, I'm going to miss her
eligible. No.
sentencing. I'm going to
It
have to
means
take off
you
out of
will
here. Thank you
die
for having
in
me, Steph.
prison.
No, of course,
And
Deb.
I'm sure
Anytime.
she
I'll
will
message
want
you
to
later.
die
Yeah,
Love you,
hope to
Deb.
join.
Bye, Deb.
Bye, guys.
quickly,
Bye,
Bye,
chat.
Deb.
but she won't.
Take care.
Because she's too much of a
Take it easy.
narcissist, has come out. I'm not making this stuff up. It's what the people that the highly trained professionals have said.
Hold
She
on.
is a narcissist, and that's what she did. I think it proved that nobody believed her story that she's not guilty by reason of insanity in any way. So
Let
going
me
back to the
this.
prosecution
They're
side, the prosecution
CBD
dismissing the
dog
case.
treats.
Left
Scott
up to
owns
court's
a line,
discretion. Like I said,
a
life without
company that
parole
makes
for first degree murder.
CBD dog
Murder under
treats
12
for
emerges,
pets.
which means it's really the same crime,
Well,
just charged
CBD
a different way,
pet treats,
and therefore
predominantly for
you can't
dogs to
be
help with
sentenced
anxiety.
more heavily for the same crime. That would be unconstitutional. Then the tampering charge, like I said, is a 12 to 18-month sentence. It's a class 6. It's really insignificant because she'll never even start that one because she'll be serving the life without parole. So when she's done with her life, then I guess in theory she starts her other sentence. And then the tampering of the human body, the prosecutor asked for the maximum sentence of 4 to 12 or for 12 years because it is a class 3 felony here in the state of Colorado. So the range is 4 to 12. The DA asked for 12. So if you get 12 years plus probably another year to 15 months, 18 months, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure the judge, who was pretty eloquent when he was speaking to the jury, will have some choice words to say to Letitia Stauch, although the judge always has to be careful so that it doesn't show somehow that he's being, what's the word I'm looking for? Not fair, unbiased, but he can certainly comment based upon the evidence in the case and her conduct throughout this case. I hope the judge calls her out on her conduct throughout these proceedings, the delay, the games, the manipulation that she has done, and basically delayed justice. You know, the old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. That's kind of where things go as it relates here to Letitia Stauch. It's, I don't know. What can the judge say other than you deserve everything your gut coming to you because you deserve life in prison because you killed this young boy who trusted you, liked you. The parents trusted her, liked her. And, I take Al Stauch as his word that, he's going to second guess that. And he thought if there was any way that he thought that he wasn't safe, he never would have left. And then he broke down in tears on the podium. I think that's truly sincere. I mean, that man is going to punish himself for the rest of his life, thinking, if I had known, I didn't know. What should I have seen? It's just a tragedy. I don't know. It's you just never know. I mean, I don't think when he met her, they ever thought, oh, she's going to kill my kid. I hope not, right? Run. But it's the kind of situation where you just never know. You just never know. You got to really trust it. All right, looks like we're coming back. Letitia Stauch there still smugly.
I would
and
absolutely smack the
trying to pull her
shit
hair
out
back.
of that one defense attorney.
If she had any guts, you'd just say, bring it on, Judge. Let's do this thing. Here we go.
Honestly, I'm not sure why somebody hasn't already. Hell, they're both like that.
No, but the one in the gray that was sitting there with his legs crossed, literally twiddling his thumbs, looking at the ceiling.
He didn't want to be here. That guy didn't want to be here in the first place.
Is getting a phone call letting them know that something has happened to their child. How much worse must that nightmare be when law enforcement asks not for a picture of your loved one, but rather DNA and dental records? I've also heard it said that one of the worst tragedies a parent can experience is to outlive a child.
Stop, you are hurting me.
I have known people, both professionally and personally, who have gone through that. It never leaves them, but the sharpness of the pain does diminish to some extent over time. I cannot fathom the pain Mr. Stauch and Ms. Bullard have experienced as a result of the defendant's actions. A sentence in a criminal case such as this will not change the fact that their son's life was taken from them, and no sentence I impose and nothing I say will ever change that fact. Ms. Stauch, you betrayed the person you loved enough to marry. You told your husband lies and took away someone he loved. You took away every day that Mr. Stauch or Ms. Bullard could have had with their son. When you take a life, regardless of how you do that, you forever alter the future.
Go downstairs.
Neither
put it
Mr.
down
Stauch
in
nor
the-
Ms. Bullard will ever see their son graduate from high school, go through the joy and the
Mr. Bear.
pain of that first love, or
Bingo.
get married. They will never know what kind of impact their son may have had on the world if only he had lived to become an adult. And had Gannon's body not been found, they never would have known what happened to Gannon. They would always have had a lingering doubt about what happened to Gannon. And I cannot imagine the pain and sense of loss associated with that. You betrayed your daughter, Harley Hunt. I cannot imagine the emotional impact that you have had on her due to your selfish and calculated actions. This is a young woman that trusted you to put her interests above yours. This is a young woman who believed in you and believed you were innocent of this crime right up until the time that you pled not guilty by reason of insanity. And she still loves you. That's natural for a child, and it doesn't matter how much older they get. You were supposed to protect her. I cannot imagine the guilt she feels or the therapy that she will need to address your betrayal. There is no evidence that she had anything to do with the murder or your cover-up of it, but some people still think that she is somehow involved. She wasn't. The incredible strength of will and courage that it took for her to come in and testify is amazing to me. But she did it because, as she said, it was the right thing to do. And while thankfully she didn't testify, let's not forget about Lena. You betrayed her too. You took her brother from her and forever altered her family dynamics. She will always wonder who she can trust and will always feel that loss. She was there the day you killed Gannon. His body was still in the house when she got back from school. At some point, you even claimed this 8-year-old girl helped you move her brother's body from the basement to the back of your car. That's just simply not true. As she gets older, Lena is going to want to know more, and she's going to want to know if there was something that she could have done to prevent this. I hope she comes to realize that she has no fault in all of this. You betrayed your stepson and you took his life. You took away everything he was and everything he could ever become. I can't imagine the terror and confusion that he must have felt in the last moments of his life when he knew his life was being taken by someone he trusted to protect it. Your attempt to raise the claim that you did this because of your adverse childhood is also a betrayal of people that have mental health issues. It is no secret that there is a large part of our population that has mental health issues. It's also no secret that our country and our health system could do a much better job addressing mental health issues than it does. However, the number of people with mental health issues who become violent is small, and the number who become murderers is smaller still. Your claim that a mental health issue caused the murder in this case is a disservice to all those who struggle with mental health issues every day. This isn't the first case I have presided over in which sanity or a mental condition of the defendant has been raised as a defense. I have had cases where the defendant's mental condition caused the defendant to act out in a certain fashion. But even in those cases, I have never seen conduct like this.
Oh.
I understand the claim of dissociative identity disorder. I have seen something resembling that, and I have seen defendants with schizophrenic disorders. I can understand those. What I have seen is that the mental condition causes the person to act a certain way, and when they realize what they did, they are astonished by what happened, or they have no memory of what happened. Your claim is that it was another personality that murdered Gannon, but there is no time during the minutes, hours, and days following the murder where Letitia came out and wondered, gee, why am I carrying a body around in my luggage? That just isn't credible.
Damn.
You knew what you were doing. You made a number of clear and
judge.
conscious decisions to cover or disguise what you had done. Claiming a lack of motive is a common defense tactic, and it can be a sound strategy. The truth is, however, that it only takes a moment to make a bad decision that results in disastrous consequences. And oftentimes, we never know why a defendant chose a particular course of action. However, that does not mean that they did not intend to undertake a course of action. Sometimes, as in this case, the likely explanation is anger. An 11-year-old boy with burns who feels that he's not being taken care of. An 11-year-old boy on the verge of being a teenager. Those of us who have lived through people or kids with that were teenagers, we know how that is. It is not hard to imagine Gannon saying something, "You're not my mom. I want my mom. I want my dad." And that would be enough to make you really angry. But anger is not an excuse. A defendant is responsible for the choices they made and the actions they undertook, even though those choices arose out of or were motivated by anger. It's clear that you hated and were jealous of Landon Bullard. You saw yourself as a better mother than she was. It's clear from the evidence that you had some resentment from being left with Mr. Stauch's children. It's clear you had some resentment toward Mr. Stauch because he traveled as part of his job. Some of that manifested as early as Al's assignment in Alaska when you made allegations against the people in his unit. That caused Al to have to return from Alaska. And in one of the phone calls that were played for the jury, you talked about having to take care of his kids while he was away and what a good mother you were. It's clear you felt trapped. You wanted out. You were searching for a new job and a new location in Florida. Mr. Stauch had been gone on his new assignment for less than 2 days when the fire in the basement occurred. I can imagine that you saw your whole future consisting of taking care of Mr. Stauch's children while he was off doing his thing, and that's not the future that you wanted. I can imagine Gannon, at some point after he sustained his burns, telling you wanted his real mom and how that comment would have made you angry. You took your frustration and anger for the marriage, the child care, the absence of Al, and even living in Colorado. You took all of that out on Gannon. The evidence suggests you first stabbed Gannon repeatedly, 18 times. Based on the number of defensive wounds, he was clearly conscious for some of that. He was certainly gravely wounded.
5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes in a room with her.
And chillingly,
5 minutes.
Line. Get in
it would
line.
also explain how you were able to mimic the sound of Gannon breathing in one of your sessions with Dr. Lewis.
I just want 5 minutes.
Those were probably close to his last breaths. He was dying but not dead. The evidence could also lead one to conclude that he either fell or rolled off the bed where you shot him in the head and then beat him with the butt of a gun or a baseball bat. That would explain the blood found at different levels on the walls in Gannon's bedroom. I'm also reminded of the look you had on your face when you slipped your handcuffs while being transported back to Colorado and attacked Deputy James. I shudder to think that that was probably the last thing that Gannon saw before he died. You have shown no remorse throughout this process. Instead, you've made a choice to build a web of lies. When you gave an interview to Detective Jessica Bethel on January 29 of 2020, you told her, you lied to her about Gannon running away and that he was actually taken by a guy named Eduardo. When you explained that to Detective Bethel, you said you needed to lie because you didn't want to face the consequences. You told her that you were trying to come up with a plan about what you should do. And finally, you told her you really thought you could fix this. I think that's true. You lied because you didn't want to face the consequences. You needed to come up with a plan to fix this, and that plan involved covering up what you had done. It involved lie upon lie. But you slipped up at various points and let kernels of truth escape. In one conversation with Mr. Stauch, you told him the FBI needed to close the borders of Colorado, needed to close I-95. I-95 doesn't go through Colorado.
Oops.
It's an interstate
It's
that runs
right
along
by
the entire
me.
eastern seaboard. It's also not
It's
far from where
right
you dumped
by
Gannon's
me.
body. When questioned by Detective Bethel, you told her that Mr. Stauch might also make up some kind of story about you coming at him with a knife. You said you would never use a knife like that. Yet Gannon was stabbed 18 times. Your actions in this case also show a very conscious attempt to avoid responsibility in this case. You started out with the story that Gannon had run away. You gave some hints that it might be related to bath salts or drug use by Gannon. You stayed with that story until you were called into EPSO for an interview. You knew they weren't going to buy the story that Gannon ran away. Then you came up with the abduction. And you stayed with some iteration of that for a long time. But all of those versions had one thing in common. You were always the victim. In one, you're beaten and raped and Gannon was abducted. In one, someone stole Gannon out of a truck in the parking lot. In another, you let someone drive Gannon to a hospital to take care of a head injury that he had after falling off a bike. In all of them, you could claim it wasn't your fault. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Then you got arrested. You stuck to the story that it was someone else that took Gannon. During the hours that you spoke with Special Agent Grusing, he told you he thought sometimes good people do bad things, and sometimes it's an accident. Then they found Gannon's body. Then you saw the mountain of evidence against you. And this is a mountain the size of Everest. What was your position after that? Well, it was an accident. And you, Letitia, didn't even do it. It was Maria Sanchez. You carefully crafted your new story to continue to avoid responsibility. It also allowed you to take advantage of the out that Mr. Grusing and Mr. Stauch suggested much, much earlier when they asked you if this was an accident. Now it was an accident. Your Maria Sanchez personality shot Gannon by mistake because she thought he was an intruder in a cape. Multiple personalities is not credible in this setting, as regardless of how many personalities you have, you only have one body. I have presided over cases where a mental disease or defect prevented a defendant from remembering the course of events, including the commission of the crime. Without exception, those defendants have been terrified when contacted by law enforcement because there was a period of time in their lives that they could not account for. Their body may have sustained an injury, and they don't know how it happened. They may have some new object in their house or on their person, and they have no idea where they got it from. We all have free will, and we all make choices based on that free will. The people who suffer from the mental disorder you claim are terrified because their free will has been taken from them, and they are being subjected to things and experiences they don't understand and don't have any recollection of. You didn't behave anything like that. One of the purposes is to impose an appropriate sentence for the criminal conduct that occurred. Another purpose is to punish an offender by imposing a sentence that takes into account the seriousness of the offense.
So
Yet another purpose of sentencing is to prevent crime and promote respect for the law by providing
Vecuronium
an
or
effective deterrent to
No.
others likely to commit a
She
similar
deserves
offense.
rockuronium. That's what she deserves. That or Vec.
Anyone who's been in my courtroom before knows that I've said sentencings are the most difficult thing that I do. That's especially true in cases where someone has lost his or her life. Nothing I or the law can do will ever bring that person back. I have handled hundreds, if not thousands, of criminal cases over the years. I think at this point in my career, I've presided over something like 200 jury trials. I've sentenced hundreds more defendants pursuant to plea agreements. This is not the first murder case that has come before me. This is not the first case I have presided over which involves harm to a child. This is not the first case I have had where a person who was in an unhappy marriage committed a crime. Sadly, statistically, there is a high correlation between violent acts, including murders, and family members. I have had a number of cases which have demonstrated one person's capacity for cruelty toward another human being. I can, however, say without hesitation
You're the worst I've ever
that the
seen.
facts in this case are the most horrific I have ever seen. Your conduct in this case deserves the maximum punishment that I can impose under Colorado law. As such, with respect to the charge of first-degree murder after deliberation, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. With respect to the charge of murder in the first degree of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, I remand you to the custody of Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. Those two sentences will merge. If you have questions about that, you can ask your attorneys. With respect to the charge of tampering with a deceased human body, I'm also going to sentence you to 12 years, followed by a 3-year period of parole. That sentence is to be consecutive to the life sentences that I've already imposed. With respect to tampering with physical evidence, I'm going to impose an 18-month sentence. That sentence is also consecutive to the to the sentences for the murder charges that I have
After
imposed.
you die without parole,
I also understand
20 more years.
with the consent of the prosecution, and I'm assuming no objection from the defense, that I will dismiss all the charges in 20 CR 3170, close that out, subject to restitution, give the people 49 days for restitution, 14
Iris,
days for
they're not
response.
allowed to.
And if there's
Can't.
an issue, we will set it within the 90 days, within 90 days
Well,
from
if they sent her to a Supermax, it's pretty
I
much
think
solved
that
for the
resolves
remainder of
all
her
outstanding matters.
So
Right,
that's
Is
a
there
good thing.
anything else that the
Right,
prosecution
but he
wishes for me to
can't make
address?
that decision.
Yeah, that's a good one, Thomas.
Defense?
After that, he's gonna whoop your ass.
Court will be in recess.
Okay.
All right. Well, there you have.
I will say, here's the thing. I vote for Rock Uranium. We're going to have a very brief Loki meltdown for 2 seconds. We'll go into this more later tonight. But the reason that you can breathe in and out is your diaphragm moves. If your diaphragm, Iris, you're going to like this. The reason you can breathe is your diaphragm moves, causing a negative pressure situation in the lungs, which then forces the air to rush in. You then relax, and the weight of gravity and your ribs pushing on you is what causes you to exhale. And then your diaphragm pulling down again creates a negative pressure and you inhale. If I paralyze, no, Iris, you do it the right way. If I give you vecuronium or rocuronium and chemically paralyze your diaphragm, the weight of your chest and of the atmosphere will slowly suffocate you to death. Vecuronium and rocuronium, while they chemically paralyze you, do absolutely nothing for your mental state. That's why when they used to perform lethal injection with 3 drugs, they have to give you something to sedate you, because otherwise it's terrifying. You feel yourself slowly suffocating, and there is nothing you can do with paralytics. That drug, phenobarbital, no, Creed, it's truly this something, a smart thing to speak on. It's medically true. The drug that they used to use to sedate somebody for lethal injection is what they don't make. We still carry vecuronium and rocuronium for the induction of anesthesia and intubation. You don't have to give somebody etomidate or sedation when you chemically paralyze them. Yep. It is, Creed. All I did was explain the mechanics and physiology behind breathing. I explained the pharmacology of paralytics that are used for induction by a medical professional. It's not, Creed. It is the pharmacologic It's not a how-to of anything. It is how breathing works and a pharmacological explanation of a drug. That's all it is. And me clearing up the misnomer of how you breathe. That's all I have said. Any inferences drawn are yours and yours alone. Anubis, we have vecuronium, rocuronium, succinylcholine, vecuronium. Anything that ends in the word rhonium is a chemical paralytic. I mean, my nurses in chat can affirm. That's physiology of breathing. Nope, Jerry, yeah, you're not buying chemical paralytics on the street. I'm just saying. Howdy, any comment?
You did correctly explain that if you paralyze the diaphragm, you will suffocate. That is not a problem. You are correct on the rhoconium stuff. That it's no longer made, and nobody is going to let either you or I or anybody in this chat close to that chick and be alone with her for 5 minutes. That's my comment. I'd like 5 minutes.
We also have reversal agents, so if you accidentally chemically paralyze a patient, or when you're done with anesthesia, you can give it to reverse the induction and redose them with the paralytic. I'm just saying. Back to my earlier housekeeping comment. If you don't like me, that is fine. Do not put my beasties at risk and the financial good my beasties and Beastie Fund does by reporting my patient, my stream, and claim that somebody watching someone else play a video game is sniping a stream and violating terms of service. You don't like me, that's fine. Don't harm my beasties that need my help. Creed, it is. It is against terms of service to snipe a stream or to rebroadcast anybody else's content without fair use reasoning or rebroadcast anyone else's content without their permission. It may not have been Anubis, but the problem is that's what it was represented as. You don't actually have to be doing something against terms of service. All you need to do is take a situation and misrepresent it. All you have to do is take people watching a video game, claim it is rebroadcasting without permission and sniping something. And it creates days of a problem for the channel. Along with the very real possibility I could have lost the channel. Which would then mean I lost the ability to financially assist the beasties. I am not calling one person out. I am not calling anybody out. I am not accusing anybody. I am saying I have made it through it, and after 2 days of pure hell, when all I should have been focusing on was A, not being sick, as you can tell by my voice, and getting Micro Loki ready for her marathon. That I spent hours a day dealing with YouTube.
You think the healthcare system is hard to navigate? Try dealing with YouTube.
Oh, jeez. I remember the last time I tried that. That didn't end well.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's a lot of stress that nobody needs.
Creed, she ran a mile. Most marathon have what they call the kids marathon, which is a mile or a 5K or whatever. And it was her first one, and she ran a mile. And she finished in the top 25.
Which
And
is
she
pretty
got
good.
a beautiful medal.
Well, they
Which is
put up,
really good.
Patty, I will send it to you. They put up the picture of her crossing the finish line ahead of everybody else.
I want that picture for my wall at my
I'll
office.
send it to you.
That one needs to be framed, and then I can look at my boss, who's also a marathoner, and go, we got one in progress. Better watch out, dude.
That would be funny, I think.
Jerry, I do have information. I am not going to make public the information I have. I am not going to make accusations. And after this, or maybe tonight once, I'm not going to address it again. So for those who tried to get a hold of me this weekend and did not get an answer, it is because I spent the entire weekend trying to save the channel. do not come for my ability to have the community and to support people that need it. Even if you don't like me or how I handle something. Being able to donate to Ardo's family charities. Being able to enable certain Lair members to buy their medication they need to live. Being able to allow beasties to buy food and groceries for their family. Don't interfere with it. All you will do is end up on a side of me you don't want to see. I love my beasties. I love being able to help my beasties. I love the fact that Beastie Fund has been able to make very generous donations to Secret McSquirrel's GoFundMe, to charities in honor of CCW, Papa Jenkins, Rabbi Jenkins' grandson. I'm very proud of the fact that we have made sure several Lair members were able to pay for the medication they need to live. And that people that did not think they would be able to buy food.
Thomas,
And
I'll
it
get
was
with you
coming
later
up.
on what the deal is.
And allow them to know they had food security and were not as food insecure. It is a hard world. It is a hard road in the world, especially right now. This is something that is very close to my heart. When my grandmother and mother and grandfather came to the U.S. after the Holocaust and had nothing, and when I say nothing, they'd even been stripped of their nationality. It was the kindness of others that made sure they had the money to eat and survive. And that's why I have Beastie Fund. It allows us to give back. It allows me to give back. Don't come for that. You do not want to see what happens if you take my ability away to help people that need it. Well, you don't all know each other and everybody is not a regular. And we are never going to speculate, right? We don't do that. There are people here that cannot afford their medications without the assistance of Beastie Fund. And on top of it, the Beastie Fund is anonymous to everybody but me. Yes, I thank people for donations unless they explicitly say, I don't want anyone to know I donated. Please don't acknowledge it. But when it comes to who's receiving financial assistance, not even Patty or Croc know who is getting financial assistance.
Nor do I want to.
Neither of them want to, but neither of them know. The only thing they know of is this is roughly the amount Beastie Fund has free. And this is what it was used for. So there can't be accusations of accountability.
Well, there could be. It won't work, but there could be.
But that's why there is transparency with you two in that aspect. No other members have any idea. The only thing that's ever made public are donations to public charities, like with PECA, when we did for Ardo with PECA or things like that. That's it. So if you contacted me this weekend and have not heard back, I apologize and you will hear back today. But I was trying to protect the channel and Beastie Fund by the malicious reporting of somebody.
That being said, if you have a need, please reach out.
If you are not
guarantee we can help
comfortable,
everyone, but we
and
if
I can't. I
Yeah.
will admit I can't help everybody right now. But this person almost taking away my ability to monetize my channel.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to be monetized for like, ooh, I can quit my job. I want to be monetized so I am higher up in the algorithm. I want to be monetized so that I can help more than I can right now. Do not try me. You will not like me. I promise that. Ask Patty about the screaming phone calls she got.
Yep. I do
Big
get the phone
mad
calls,
was an
and I'm happy to take
understatement.
them. And I'm happy to take them, and I understand your frustration and your feeling of having something that is really good that can really benefit a community. That's a targeted benefit, and our ability to be able to carry forward that mission. It just burns me. Because when I drive around my local town and I'm blessed and I see people that don't have food, don't have shelter, that need help, and you want to help every one of them. There is a real problem with food insecurity, people not being able to afford medicines, things like that. And it's the kindness of people that are donating to the Beastie Fund that's allowing Loki to do this. And Jerry, you're right. She's scary. People don't scare me. Loki's scary when she's mad.
I love my community. My community and my beasties are family. Do not try me.
I think we've all been through at some point in our life where we had food to live on, but it wasn't the food that we wanted. You know, life's tough.
I will
Life's hard.
also say, and I'm not calling anybody out, if you need help, if you need money for medication or food or for whatever, you reach out. And I can't help everybody at this point, but I will do my best, and I prioritize things, and Beastie Fund will help you as much as we can. And it will always be anonymous. Always. Will never go past me. And it will never change how I see you as a person, nor will you ever I will never break confidence, nor will it change how I see you. Reach out to me. It is why I make myself available.
Stop. You're fine. I know it upsets you too, Apple. Apple sensed I was in distress and now she's begging to be cuddled. Because that makes me feel better.
And Ardo, I never want anybody who's on limited means to donate money or whatever. Like, please take care of yourself, take care of your family. You know, do not prioritize this. There are people.
Ardo, sometimes all you have to do to make a difference in a person's life is to be able to give them a gift of time.
Ardo makes
And refinishing a table,
difference.
that's huge.
Not just that, Ardo champions this channel everywhere. And that's all I could ask for.
Mhm.
I love my
Jerry,
community.
Apple is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Who's Micro Loki's spirit animal?
Yes, she and the Micro Loki are one and the same.
I love my community. I have spent the past month putting myself through hell with things like this trial. And I will do it over and over again. And we have fun. We have lots of fun. We have a ton of fun. The Beastie community is great fun. But it also does great things for people. So don't act like a child. And take it away because you're big mad. Arda, the fact that it brought you comfort to know that the Beasties donated in honor of Pekka makes us all happy.
Ardo, I made I made a promise to myself that every day I was going to make at least one person smile. Some days I'm the only one that smiles. But there's other days where I can make a lot of people smile. Apple Rose, do you want to be changed, have your name changed to COVID? Because that would work. She's like, no, don't change my name.
She can be Nano Loki.
Yeah, I think we might actually want one of those at some point.
So, I'm done
And
discussing
Nanny Loki would be good too. Because Loki be like the best mama around.
I am done for the most part discussing it. I may address it tonight one last final time.
Right, Danny. You got it.
But after that, it will never be addressed again. Do not screw with something that is there to try to better a community and genuinely help people with no strings attached and with no need to repay things.
Yes.
And no expectation. Don't interfere with it. You don't want to see what happens. End of warning. I'm going to go make micro Loki dinner. I'm going to put up the stream for tonight in a minute. I'll get back with you guys later. I love you all. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you all tonight.
Love and hugs, everyone. See you later.